Once upon a time, I went on a magical adventure where I travelled through time, explored great buildings, and made lots of new friends. There are forests, rivers, and ice cream. My story was one of excitement and wonder. And what happens next? Well, that's your chapter. Make Worcestershire part of your story.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Visit Worcestershire New Road for day 3 of the Rothesay County Championship Division 1 game between Worcestershire and Surrey. And the players just taking the field, with Worcestershire trailing by 8 runs and 4 wickets down in their second innings. 69 for 4 is the overnight situation. The not-out batsman Adam Hose on 23 and Ben Allison, the night watchman, who is on 8. It's been a very, very watchable first 2 days. The game is very well advanced for the start of day 3, and I think both myself, Frank Watson from BBC Hereford and Worcester, and Mark Church, who is alongside me from BBC Radio London, are thinking that this game will probably end today.
Yes, that's what you would think. What we saw yesterday afternoon was the pitch woke up mid-afternoon and there were balls sort of climbing off a length, and then Wheeljacks got one that kept low, and I think the interesting one was the ball that Adam Hose got last night. The off a length went straight up and hit him on the glove, and then Hose immediately, and I don't blame him at all, looked to play some shots, which if he gets another one of those this morning, I think that'll be the way he'll go about it. So they're still trailed by the 8 runs. Worcestershire, 4 wickets for Surrey, 69 for 4. At one point yesterday, it looked as if Surrey might bat all day. And then, as I say, Ben Allison bowled really well with Tom Taylor on a pitch that suddenly gave them a lot of assistance, and that continued in the overs, the 17 overs last night. So I doubt we'll see anything too different this morning either. I think, against this Surrey attack, I think this will be tough for Worcestershire this morning.
Well, it's Matt Fisher who has been a key man in this Surrey attack, opening things up with the first over from the New Road end of the ground. His first ball is left alone outside the off stump by Adam Hose. You would say, I think, that Hose is key. His wicket and perhaps Brooks and Waite as well will be key men if Worcestershire are to in any way set a target that would test Surrey even slightly. Ben Allison, the night watchman out there, will just be looking to hang around for as long as he can this morning. There's Fisher again in, and Hose is pushing this one out on the offside, and there's no run.
I think yesterday, Frank, I'll be honest with you, at 21 for 3, I did wonder whether we could have been asking for an extra half hour last night, because at that point it really did look very, very tough for Worcestershire. I thought Allison and Hose did a good job last night to get through just 4 down. Yeah.
Well, my theory on it, and I've shared this with a few people, is that it's slightly different for both sides, and I'll explain that in a minute, as Hose edges this one through the slip, bottom edge, I think, and it's gone for 4 byes. He didn't edge it, he had a swish at it, and Rory Burns, who's keeping in this one, first time for 10 years incidentally in the championship, didn't get anything on that, and it's gone away for 4 byes. I thought it looked from here as it went between keeper and slip as though he got a bottom edge on it, but anyway, 4 byes, 4 more. Worcestershire now only trail by 4, an odd one. I'll explain my take on batting on this pitch after this next ball from Fisher, and Hose is playing and missing at this one, and it's this, and it might be right, it might be wrong, it might be somewhere in the middle, but I think for the Worcestershire batters who've played here every game this season, on pitches that have been not as good as this, I mean, I think this has probably been the best of the pitches here at New Road, and that might seem strange. Combined with the Kookaburra, I don't think batting's been quite as difficult on this pitch as it has been, which tells you, if you're only here for this game, it tells you how difficult it has been in the other games. Fisher bowls again, and Hose is forward, playing that nicely back up the pitch. And then, when Wokes and Rushworth were bowling for Warwickshire here, it was pretty much impossible to dominate the bowling to any extent whatsoever. But I think when you've played here every game, you're probably going out there, and I'm not saying for a minute that the Worcestershire batsmen aren't applying themselves. I'm not saying that for a second. They're going out there, they're doing their best, but they're not in a normal frame of mind, shall we put it, for a batter. They're not quite trusting the surface. And Fisher is in. Hose lets that go outside the off stump. End of the first over, just the 4 byes from it, 73 for 4. And that means that they aren't necessarily making the same decisions about what shot to play, about foot movement, etc., that they would make under normal circumstances. If you come here as a visitor and you've only got to play 2 innings on it, then perhaps you are not quite as mentally disturbed, shall I put it, as you would be if you were playing here all the time. I hope that makes sense. And as I say, I've discussed it with a couple of the players, and they've said that they don't think there's a lack of confidence. It's just a kind of it's a complicated thing, isn't it? The mental approach to batting, and if you're not absolutely clear-headed, then I think you don't necessarily play at the top of your game. So that would be my take.
I think that's why I mentioned the hose delivery that hit him yesterday on the hand, because if you're hose at that point, you think, well, hang on, there's going to be another one of those at some point. Yeah. So I may as well play some shots here and get some runs on the board. So it's not a lack of application. No. It's just. No. If you're batting on surfaces like this, it just makes it very hard. As Jordan Clark gets it started from the Diglis end, and Allison's driving very handsomely straight down the ground for 4. It's a lovely way to start the day from Ben Allison. And that means parity has been reached. So Surrey will bat again because the next run, and Worcestershire will be in profit. But that's a lovely shot from Allison.
Well, a half volley's a half volley, I suppose, isn't it? Whether it's first ball of the day or last, whether it's a good pitch or not. And the main thing is to just make sure that you don't miss out.
Jordan Clark in his bandana is in, and Allison's driving again up towards Nathan Smith. And there is no run. I suppose it may be, was the heavy roller on there this morning? I don't know, but it may take a little bit of time for the pitch to wake up again. So
you can only use the heavy roller
I always get so muddled the number of times I think you are allowed
used
to.
It as many times as they're allowed to.
Yes. As Jordan Clark with a couple of slips in there, as driving is Allison down towards backward point. Laws gets round to do the fielding, and there is no. The other thing I would say about that, and Frank's spot on, is. So the 2 ways to go about this, if you were Worcestershire, would be, right, we're going to get our heads down and we're going to make it as hard as possible for Surrey to take these wickets. But the problem is, if you do that, I think you get stuck. And you'd always know that there was going to be a ball that was either going to hit your glove or bowl you shooting along the floor, as this one's left alone by Allison. So you have to...
You've got to
be positive. You've got to be positive. And sometimes that can almost look as if... Well, it's a carefree attitude. That's not the case at all. It's just sort of saying to yourself, if I just try and hang in here, I'm going to get one that's going to have my name on it at some point. So I may as well look to score while I'm out here. Yeah.
Well, I said to Ben Allison last night, so you turn up tomorrow and you hope that if you can get 100 ahead or something, you've got to have a chance. He said, we've got to believe.
Yeah. As driving is Allison. Doesn't really time this one. And that's straight back up the pitch to Jordan Clark, and there's no run.
He said, "Yeah, we've got to believe that, because otherwise, what's the point in turning up? You've got to believe that you've got the depth in your ranks to get stuck in, and who knows?" And as I said to him, he wasn't aware of it, but 11 years ago, September 2014, I think, on this very ground, Worcestershire beat Surrey from a far worse position.
Oh, was that the Chantry match? Yes, I was here for that. As forward goes Allison, plays this one back up the pitch, and there's no run. That was one of the most ridiculous games of cricket.
Amazing.
And
amazing game.
Mr. Chantry strolled out there with it, everybody thinking, well, that's it, and then smashed 100.
Yeah.
And then Worcestershire ended up winning the game.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, it really was.
Anyway, got a quiz question.
Oh, lovely.
This time it's about Worcestershire, so it might be too easy for some Worcestershire listeners. But again, I'll do the usual. I'll not give it out. I'll give the question. You can have a go. If you get it right, I'll let you know privately, but I won't give the answer on air until later in the day. But it's about a Worcestershire bowler, and it's, if you don't know it, and if you're a Surrey listener or viewer, you'll be quite amazed by this stat. Fisher bowls, and Hose takes the hand off that one as it bounces Again, quite sharply, well played by Adam Hose. So, which Worcestershire bowler took 204 more wickets in his first-class career than he scored runs? Which is, he's obviously, taken quite a few wickets. He took 204 more wickets than he scored runs. So who was that? That's the question today. A Worcestershire bowler. Fisher in, bowls, Hose defends, back up to mid-off, and there's no run. And Twitter is the best way to get in touch, at Frank Watson 58 on Twitter, or X, as I should now call it, if you want to have a go at that. Which Worcestershire bowler in his career took 204 more wickets than he scored first-class runs? And there can't be many who have got that sort of record. Quite an interesting one. So there you go. And it's not that long ago. I did play within my lifetime, certainly. There's Fisher in. Bowls, Hose, who's taken on the pad, having left it alone. There's an appeal. I think he's probably got so far outside the line that the umpire couldn't be certain that was going to come back and hit the stump. 77 for 4 it remains. Worcestershire then are level. So the visitors will have to bat again, and hoping, Worcestershire, that they can extend this innings to post a total which will allow them to set a target which might test Surrey at least a little bit. And then who knows? Fisher in, bowl short. Hose goes for a pull shot, swivelling round but misses it, taken on the thigh. I don't think he was that much outside the off stump, watching the replay of the previous ball, but a bit high, I think, probably.
Nicely bowled by Fisher. He's bowled beautifully in this game, hasn't he?
He has. He's hardly bowled a bad ball. I think he's probably bowled about 2 bad balls. Just metronomic, really. Very, very, very steady, accurate.
Do you know the biggest compliment I can give him? It's reminded me of Bicknell, this.
Yeah, well, there you go. I was talking about the likes of Hendrick and Allott yesterday from a perhaps the slightly era slightly before, only slightly before, but this one blocked by Hose. But yeah, just basically saying, well, I'm not going to try and bowl wonder balls or anything. I'm just going to make it so that you find it difficult, and sooner or later, either you make a mistake or the pitch offers me a little bit of extra help, or a combination of both, and I will strike. And that's exactly what Fisher's philosophy has been. 3 for 34 from 16 in the first innings, and as tidy as ever as Hose plays this one defensively off the back foot in this innings. Now 9 overs, 3 maidens, 2 for 29. 77 for 4, the scores are level.
And I think we're all right with the weather today. I don't think there's meant to be any rain, and there's some cloud and blue sky, and the sun's out. Santner's having a bit of a chat there with Dan Lawrence. Jordan Clark will continue from the Diglis end. So Ben Allison with a very nice boundary to get his day started. Straight down the ground for 4. And there are a couple of slips in there. There's a gully, the backward point, the cover, mid-off, mid-on, the mid-wicket, and a deep backward square is Matt Fisher. So Jordan Clark from the Diglis end, past umpire long into Allison, and Allison's letting this one go. Outside his off stump, and it's taken by Rory Burns, moving away to his right-hand side. Yes, I had a scenario this morning. I honestly don't know the answer to this, but we saw with Mitchell Santner yesterday, and that's been discussed in the 5 penalty runs. But I was saying this: what would happen if, let's just say that it was, let's say Santner had been the last Surrey batsman, and Surrey had needed 4 to win, as in over the wicket. Oh, comes Jordan Clark, and forward goes the right-handed Allison. That beats the outside edge, and it's into the gloves of Rory Burns. I got that the wrong way round, sorry. All I'm saying is, if what would come first if it was the last batter? And let's say, well, you can do it that way round, actually, can't you? And he'd been given out, and and then 5 penalty runs, and the other side win because I'm not sure what happens in that situation.
No.
As this one's turned into the leg side by Allison. Round comes Fisher to do the fielding. They'll get back for 2, and it means that Worcestershire are in profit here. They lead by 2. So they lead by 2. But yes, that would be an interesting one.
So a player's given out and his team loses.
Yes. And then.
No, he's given out and his team wins.
Yes, but then he and it's sort of, I don't know, 3 or whatever, and then it's the 5 penalty runs for a reaction, and then it switches round. I don't know what comes first. The being given.
But if he was given out, and that was the end of the game.
That would be it, surely.
Yeah, but then if the penalty runs were awarded to the other team, they'd already have won.
No, that's what I was saying. So I've got it the wrong way round.
Right.
I know what I'm trying to say, and it would. I suppose it would. But there could be a scenario like that at some point. But yes, yesterday nobody really quite knew what was going on, did they? Here comes Jordan Clark, and this is driven by Allison straight back up the pitch. It rolls up there towards mid-on.
I think the thing is, we were questioning yesterday. I think somebody sent in a message to me saying, had Worcestershire got 2-4-9 and then been given the penalty runs retrospectively, would they have got a bonus point? And we said no, but we found out since that yes, they would. So we think they would have got a bonus point.
As long as it was in that first 110 overs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
As Jordan Clark is in, and Allison, that's nicely played, just clips it off his legs out towards Matt Fisher at deep backward square, and they will pick up a single, and that'll be 1 more to the total. So Worcestershire move on to 80 for 4. That's a lead of 3. And Allison will keep the strike. He wanders down, and little punch of gloves there with Adam Hose. And Jordan Clark collects his cap, pops it on top of his bandana. I did actually see Jordan Clark this morning, and I did say how much I was enjoying the bandana. It sort of adds to the mystique.
Going back to our scenario, I think it's one of those situations where, and I think this happens in other sports as well, a law is made, passed, shall we say, and not every implication is considered. Fisher bowls, Allison lets that go outside the stump, and maybe it can't be. Maybe it's almost impossible to think of every potential scenario, but only then, when something happens, is a ruling made. And I think we've had this sort of situation with Duckworth Lewis and various forms of that, a formula attempting to sort out rain and that kind of thing. Well, I mean, Duckworth Lewis has put to bed a lot of the arguments, which is a good thing, I think, because everybody's kind of accepted it as being a very, very good formula. Fisher again is in and bowls, and again Allison leaves outside the off stump. But you make a rule. Well, if they do that, we're going to impose penalty runs, but you don't necessarily consider every potential.
I've worked my scenario out. Now it's so unlikely.
Okay. Yeah.
But right, okay. Scores are tied, 9 down. Yes.
Yeah.
You then get given out.
Yeah.
And you have a reaction.
Yeah.
And then the 5 penalty runs go on.
So it's not a tie.
What comes first?
Yeah.
That's
the penalty runs or the dismissal.
The likelihood of that happening is, but you always say that, and then sometimes it does.
Yeah.
Shot.
That is a lovely shot from Ben Allison, who's just stood tall. Fisher with a rare half volley. But Allison, as we've been saying throughout this game, one of the keys here is that when you do get a bad one, because there isn't much to hit, you don't miss out. And he's hit 2 half volleys today for 4, Allison. And they are very, very rare. And he's put them both away. That was a lovely shot. And he's gone to 19. So good night watchmanship. Fisher again in. Bowls. He's on the walk a little bit, Allison, this time.
This is
pushes
what I
out
noticed.
on the offside.
So he's a tall lad anyway. He's got a big stride on him, but he is.
It was a great shot.
He was, and he's just sort of trying to get to the length of the delivery at the moment.
Which is positive. That's
Absolutely.
what you're talking about. Man dispatched to deep square leg now. Not all the way, 2/3 of the way back. So we might be getting a short one in the next couple from Fisher. 84 for 4. Worcestershire just ahead by 7. As Fisher is in and bowls, and that is nicely driven again by Allison, but this time, unfortunately for him, straight to Dan Lawrence at mid-on.
Allison's looked the most comfy of all the batters so far. No, but I mean, even last night.
Yeah.
And he's getting a good stride in.
He's played well.
Yeah, he has. So
Good if he could emulate his brother this week.
Yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? That
would change things.
Yes.
But he did get his career best for Worcestershire yesterday with his 5 for 44. Fisher is in. Balls. And he's gone this time.
That.
Oh, has he? No, off the pad, I think. He played at it, turned round. It looped a bit. That's what makes me think it might not have been an edge. And the umpire is unmoved. There was a big appeal, but it didn't quite have the feel of a straightforward nick. It's the end of the over. He survived it, Allison. We nearly talked him out. Mark, just going to have a look at that again. But it was the way that it looped on its way through to Rory Burns that made me think it was off the pad. But mate, he could have got a nick on it first.
I think it's hit his back leg. I think when you see it again, he's probably down the wrong line entirely because it did a bit, this one.
Yeah.
Just seeing it again now. Yeah, that's hit his back leg.
Anyway, it died on Rory Burns. A good take, and he got away with it. 84 for 4 at the end of the over.
Adam Hose on strike on 23. So the lead is 7 now for Worcestershire. As Clark is into Hose. Hose gets forward solidly, playing this one back up the pitch, and there's no run. And if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about yesterday, when Mitchell Santner was giving out LBW, I think he'd hit it. I think we all know that. But he pointed his bat towards the umpire, and then as he walked off, he whacked his bat into the ground, which was a bit naughty. Two sort of demerit points meant that it was a 5-run penalty for Worcestershire yesterday. As forward goes Hose, plays this one out into the offside, and there's no run. So yeah, my scenario was, I sort of muddled myself up a bit there, and the chances of it happening are so slim. But you know, something always, when you say that, there may be a day it happens that it sort of scores are tied, 9 down, then LBW, and there is that sort of reaction, and then the other side get a 5 penalty runs. What comes first? As forward goes Hose, plays this one back up the pitch to Jordan Clark. He does the fielding off his own bowling, and there's no run. As Hose is going for a little wander towards square leg. Rory Burns is just adjusting his field a touch, so they've got first slip, a third slip. There's a gap between Jackson Sibley. Then the sort of, well, it's more a fifth slip actually, is Ryan Patel, than a gully. As Clark is in, that's nicely played by Hose, just turns it into the leg side, and the fielding from Santner's very good, dives away to his right. The other thing we saw last night, single to Hose, was Santner, but 1 over and got one to really turn and bounce last night as well. So I suppose if the seamers don't sort of pick up their wickets this morning, then Santner will come into play as 84 for 4 now. Worcestershire, Mr. Ashley Giles there. Do you know what? Even with Mr. Giles, I still get slightly starstruck. As in over the wicket once again goes Jordan Clark, and this is pushed off the back foot out into the offside by the right-handed Allison. Can you believe it's 20 years now?
Yeah,
since
it's
that 05 series.
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
Still looks in good shape, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's
20 years later.
He popped in for a good chat this morning with Ashley. Just about an hour or so before we started, about talking about various aspects of progress here at New Road. Always good to have a chat with him.
Clark is in. Allison turns this one into the leg side, and there is no run. End of the over, 85 for 4. Well,
and I think, sorry, I was going to say about Ashley, Mark, one of the things about his work here as CEO since he's been here, and some of his suggestions, like moving ground and everything, haven't met with universal approval, but he is utterly accessible to the members, and he walks around the ground, he has a chat with them, he sits and does his work at the front of the New Road stand during games so that people can come and talk to him, and I think that speaks of a confidence that he's developed over the years through the work that he's done at Warwickshire and with England and at Lancashire and so on. So yeah, good man to have.
Man
in
of
control,
Guildford, of course.
Indeed, a Surrey man. Yeah, absolutely. As Fisher starts a new over, Hose on the back foot, plays defensively, and there's no run.
When you go to Guildford, there are lots of pictures of him. Bicknells as well, of course. Ricky Clark, Jay Dernbach.
Yeah.
So, yes.
And he lives just not far away from here at Droitwich now, which is where he lived when he was playing all those years ago, where the King of Spain mug was first made and all that happened. And so it's an ideal scenario for him, and a very important figurehead here at Worcester, and how good, I think, as Fisher bowls and Hose plays this out on the offside, there's no run, how good for a county of Worcestershire's size to have a CEO who is also a cricket man. And it some would say he almost combines CEO with DOC, although I don't think that's in the job description, but it helps, doesn't it, if you can kill two birds with one stone in that sense, really, as far as Worcestershire are concerned. And as I say, there are some who would say that not all his views are met with universal approval, but he's approachable and he will talk to anybody about them, and I think that's a very good asset. This one played down on the onside by Adam Hose, and there's no run. 85 for 4 then Worcestershire. They lead by 8 runs so far this morning. They've added 16 without too much alarm. There was an appeal when ball went off, a deflection from Ben Allison's body, we think, or pad, to wicketkeeper Rory Burns. But so far, these two have handled themselves pretty well out there. Fisher is in again and bowls, and Hose handles himself well here, given room. And again, I have to stress that Matt Fisher bowls very few bad deliveries. He's bowled 2 this morning, and they've both been dispatched. Ben Allison drove a half volley for 4, and Adam Hose just given a bit of room there, just threw his hands at it and cracked it, not with a straight bat, sort of flat bat, through extra cover to the boundary. So he will feel better for having really felt one in the middle, and Matt Fisher erring slightly and punished for it. In again now, and bright sunshine, bowls, and he's back on it, and good length delivery just outside off stump, and Hose is on the back foot and defending it. And watching the previous one, it wasn't that bad a ball actually. Hose just sort of as you said, Mark, just decided, well, I'm going to use my feet a little bit here.
Is this what he did last
be positive
night? Well, he got himself outside leg stump, so actually it was much the same delivery that Fisher's been bowling, but he got himself outside the leg stump, which opened up the cover region. So it's a good bit of batting that from Hose.
What he's hoping, of course, is that Fisher will be a bit disturbed by it and lose his rhythm. But there's no sign of that. This over is completed with a good delivery outside off stump, which is pushed out on the offside by Hose. So Hose is 29, Allison is 19, and Worcestershire are 13 runs ahead. They are 90 for 4.
And these two have now put on 44 for the 5th wicket, because it was 46 for 4 when Libby went last night, LBW to Fisher. So it's 44 very good runs, these, from Messrs Allison and Hose. It sounds like a garden centre, doesn't it? As taking his card is Allison.
Nobody's had a go at the quiz yet. At Frank Watson 58 on Twitter if you want to have a go. I'll just repeat the question after this ball.
As over the wicket then goes Jordan Clark, and hoses down the pitch to Jordan Clark now. And he's just trying to knock Clark off his length as well. Turns that one up towards mid-off. Now, Nathan Smith is getting himself warmed up.
Yeah.
And as always with Mr. Smith, it's an energetic warm-up because he just sprinted off towards cover. He's a very watchable cricketer in everything he does.
Isn't he?
He is, yeah, he's terrific.
I bet he gets up in the morning and runs into the bathroom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unlike me. As Jordan Clark is into hose. Hose is forward, thickish edge all along the floor. And Ryan Patel moves round to his right.
So, quiz question. Which Worcestershire bowler took 204 more wickets in first-class cricket than he scored runs? It's a good one, that.
It is a really good question.
Quite an unusual stat, but it's absolutely spot on. So, which Worcestershire bowler took 204 more wickets in first-class cricket than he scored runs? At Frank Watson 58, if you want to have a go.
As over the wicket comes Jordan Clark, forward, goes hose. Plays a good length ball out into the offside. Sun's come out again now.
Beautiful day.
It is lovely. It's ideal, really. Bit of cloud cover, then the sun pops out, then you get a bit more cloud cover. Very nice it is. As Hose retakes his guard once more. Jordan Clark turns in the distance. Comes striding in, right arm over the wicket to Hose. Hose is forward and pushing this one out into the offside. He's tucked him up a touch for room there, I think. Jordan Clark. He's bowled very nicely in this game. Hasn't picked up a wicket as yet in this second innings, but very accurate and very economic figures, as always, from Jordan Clark. Rory Burns will just be thinking about all of this at the moment. He's obviously thinking about Nathan Smith, because Smith continues his energetic warm-up by touching his toes. As over the wicket goes Jordan Clark to Hose, and Hose is on his toes and turns this one into the leg side, and will pick up a single as Santa gets round to do the fielding. So one more to Hose. He moves on to 30 now. And Worcestershire move on to 91 for 4. Allison is doing a good job here. Came in last night with Worcestershire 4 down. He's been out there for 42 deliveries. He's played a couple of lovely shots. Looks very strong down the ground, driving. Tall lad. Those 5 wickets would have given his confidence the world of good. As hello, that one's climbed. Wow, that's climbed so much, that's gone over Rory Burns. That really did take off. And I think he's got something on that.
4 buys, I think.
Was it buys?
Yeah.
Now that has it, that really did take off. If he's got nothing on that, that's taken off, gone past everything, and gone straight over Rory Burns as well, at pace. That's the first one we've really seen today. And that was spectacular. It really was. I'll be interested to see this again, because that's gone vertical. Like an aeroplane taking off this one, but we're going to see it again now. It's 95 for 4. Yeah, wow. That's just back of a length, and it's gone upwards. And actually, Allison's done very well there not to get anything on it whatsoever. And as I say, Rory Burns flung himself skyward. It went straight over his head. End of the over, 95 for 4. I'll make way for Rita Green. But that is the first one that we've seen this morning that really has misbehaved.
Nathan Smith it is into the attack at the New Road end. His first ball to Adam Hose is short of a length outside off stump and played out on the offside. And there's no run. In the Test match, England are 36 without loss. They need another 335 runs to win. So a solid start against that fantastic Indian pace attack. And here Worcestershire have also got through the first half hour without losing a wicket. They are 95 for 4, leading by 18. As Nathan Smith is in from the New Road end and bowls to Hose and beats him outside the off stump, as Hose is trying to be positive, using his feet again, and then finds that one kind of cramps him up a little bit as he tries to cut it away, and he's unable to get anything on it. Nathan Smith then from the New Road end, bowled from the Diglis end last night, picked up the first 2 wickets in the innings. And we talked about his energy and how he does everything at sort of breakneck speed, and I love watching him approach the crease. He runs up with such purpose. He's in now and he bowls, and Hose is just turning this one on the leg side off his hip for a single. 96 for 4. Hose, who is such an important man in this Worcestershire batting lineup, especially when they've lost these early wickets, goes to 31, and the 50 partnership is greeted by a ripple from the more observant supporters in the ground. And what a good effort it's been by Adam Hose and the night watchman Ben Allison. It came together at 46 for 4. Worcestershire absolutely reeling last night in the 12th over, but they've settled things down and played well this morning. But got to treat each ball on its merits. Smith is in and bowls, and Allison is fending this one away on the leg side, and sends back his partner, who fancied a single but had to get back pretty quickly as the fielding was done at mid-wicket by Tom Laws. 96 for 4. Rita Green has joined me. Good morning to you, Rita. Hope the parents' meeting went well.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, pretty good. Apart from RE, that wasn't great, but I'll take that.
Smith in over the wicket, bowls, and left alone by Allison, and then nips back sharply. Rory Burns has had his work cut out this morning. There's one go right over his head. We've had 2 lots of 4-bys, and it's been tough for him. He's been diving around, keeping wicket for the first time in the Championship for 10 years. Quiz question today, Rita.
Excellent.
Put it out there already. Haven't had anybody have a go yet, but it's an interesting one. I think you'll agree. I wouldn't expect you to know the answer because it's a bit of a sort of Worcestershire one, but it's just an interesting scenario, really. And Smith bowls, and Allison is on his toes, playing defensively out on the offside. No run, end of the over from Smith. 96 for 4. Worcestershire leading by 19. So, which Worcestershire bowler in his first-class career took 204 more wickets than he scored runs? That is really unlikely scenario, but it's absolutely right, and it's not that long ago. 204 more wickets in first-class cricket than he scored runs. At Frank Watson 58 on Twitter, if you'd like to have a guess. Anybody can, or if you'd like to say anything else about the cricket, as long as it's repeatable on air. So at Frank Watson 58 or at Rita Green UK to get in touch.
Right, new over starts, and here comes Clark in, and this is a big squish and a miss, and through to the keeper Burns, and no run. Yes, the parents' evening went very well. I know you're someone that knows a parents' evening or two, and I really feel for the teachers out there. You probably get some nightmare parents, surely, and nightmare children for that matter.
I do think the online thing though is good for teachers because of what we said yesterday about limiting the time, because otherwise you know some parents, not surprisingly, think it's all about their children, which it is for them, but they can take up too much time.
Clock in, and this one's down the leg side. Didn't connect with it.
Gone for the scoop.
Went for something agricultural, didn't he? Down leg side. Missed it.
Interesting from Hose. Last 2 balls, he's gone for a smash outside the off stump. And there, he's gone right into T20 mode. He's gone for the ramp. And he's missed it.
And Worcestershire can bat a little way down for sure. But I think Adam Hose is going to play a big part in deciding today's play, really. You know, he's
not going to let them. He's not going to let them just bowl at him. I think and I agree with that. I think that's probably quite a good philosophy.
Jordan Clark in. This one put into the cover area. Think about a single. Definitely not there. No run. Not much has happened in the last half an hour. And then as I was walking up the steps to come into the commentary box, one flew out up
over the keeper's head.
Yeah, out of nowhere. Just and our lovely colleague actually in the media centre said something I think spot on. If it was just slightly shorter of a length, that delivery, that could have been pretty nasty,
Yeah.
or certainly
Yeah.
could have got a wicket. Clark in again. Big swoosh, and this time past the fielder at cover and through to the boundary rope. A lovely looking stroke there. It's a punch really into the offside, saw the gap. There was a dive to his right, but 4 runs on the board. And let's talk about a lead, shall we?
Yeah.
The lead is now 23.
Yeah. Well, so far so good, one ball at a time. But I think what Adam Hose has proved is that he's not going to just sit there and let them bowl at him,
Well,
and not try and put a little bit of pressure on the bowler.
Indeed, and the 100's up. You know, that looked like a quite far away yesterday in Clark, and this one's just dabbed down into the onside, and they take a really good single here. These two are working together rather nicely. One more to the total, 101 for 4. As you say, though, Frank, you know, take each ball, etc. But if it's there to be, if you're feeling it, feel and instinct goes a long way as a batter. If you're feeling it, go for it.
Just got to be positive. I think Ben Allison said that last night. Adam Hose is I've rarely met a more competitive batter. I think really. He really does get into it.
Clark in. Back foot punch once again into that same sort of gap area. This time it's not going to go over the boundary rope. They go through for 2. 2 more to the total. 103 for 4. And decent over there. I think Clark might be just might take a break here. Do you think?
I think we might see a change shortly. I think 12 man coming on for Ryan Patel, just nipping off. I think probably for a comfort break. Lots of options, of course, for Surrey in the bowling. We didn't even use all their options, but I mean they've got Sam Curran, they've got Tom Laws, they've got the 2 spinners Jackson Santner that can bowl. Dan Lawrence didn't even bowl in the first innings, so lots of options. Nathan Smith, for the moment, is continuing. He's only bowled 1 over this morning from the New Road end, and he's in now to bowl to Adam Hose. And Hose is just turning this one on the leg side for a single. So good from this pair so far for Worcestershire. They've come together this morning and added 35 runs in the first 40 minutes or so. A couple of good shots from both. And Ben Allison, as a night watchman, did his job last night and continues to frustrate the Surrey attack this morning. And the longer he can stay out there, the better, as far as Worcestershire are concerned. Smith bowls, and that's a lovely looking drive by Allison, which gets a single. They think about 2 as there's a slight misfield at mid-off by the 12th man, but they settle for 1. So Allison goes to 22, 105 for 4.
Still such a slow outfield, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really
really slow. In the first home game here, which I think was against Durham, Smith is in, bowls, and Hose drives straight back to him. There's no run. It was the slowest outfield I have ever seen. And Jacob Duffy, who's played cricket all over the world, actually used those words. He said it's the slowest outfield on which I've ever played. The groundsman accepted that he hadn't cut it perhaps as much as he might have done. It was all to do with floods and preparation and time, and he made it better in the next 2 games. But actually, even though it's cut quite short, it just appears to be very lush and very slow. And it's the same for both sides, isn't it? So it drives up to mid-off and there's no run. I mean, I always think when you talk about the size of the boundaries and the pace of the outfield, well, and the pitch as well, I mean, you know, both teams have got to perform on it, haven't they? And,
They've got to be, yeah.
You know, you'd expect over 3 or 4 days that things would even themselves out and the better team would win. I mean, I know the toss can play a part and so on, but that's not been the case here. We haven't seen the nature of the pitch change a great deal as the games have gone on.
I mean, even this morning feels like a repeat of yesterday morning to a high degree with Sibley and Ryan Patel out there. Things only happen in the afternoon.
You just never know, do you? Here's Smith in again. He bowls, and this one is nicely worked on the onside by Hose, but there's no run. I mean, as I said earlier, before you were on air, and I put it to Ben Allison yesterday that, you know, he didn't know, but I said you may not be aware of this, but 11 years ago on this ground against the same opposition, Worcestershire came from a far worse position than they were in to win the game. So it can happen. We've all seen cricket games turn in remarkable ways. And he said you have to believe, otherwise no point turning up. Smith is in, bowls, and Hose plays this off the back foot, back to him, and there's no run. That is the end of the over. 105 for 4, Worcestershire leading by 28 runs, and so far the overnight pair of Hose 37 and the night watchman Ben Allison 22 are unparted.
Good start for Worcestershire this morning so far, 105 for 4, as Frank mentioned, and I think as importantly, no wickets have fallen so far today. Bright sunshine here in Worcester. There was plenty of rain around as I was driving up to Worcester this morning, but that's burnt away now. We've got the old Simpsons clouds in the air, and a fresh new over, and looks like Jordan Clark will continue from the Diglis end. There's a bit of a change in the field. Right, we've got 2 slips, sort of 4 slip, point, mid on, mid off, mid wicket, and cover. Here comes Clark in. It's a shorter delivery, misses it, and goes through to the keeper, Rory Burns. And if you're just joining us, yes, I did mention Rory Burns took it with the gloves, is the keeper for this match. Good 10-year break between that should be another sort of, I don't know, quiz question as well, of those that have beat keepers and had a big break like that, or
who kept wicket, whose 2 wicket-keeping appearances were 10 years apart.
It's pretty incredible. Clark in. This one's driven, not quite middle at all, but squirts out to mid-on, and there's no run. So in the grand scheme of things, the lead is now 28, and a good mate of mine who I used to play with, Claire Taylor, a legend of England women's cricket, absolutely fabulous batter. She just had such a cool head. I think that's exactly what's needed here. Just take each 5 balls as they come, and don't get too far ahead of yourself. Clark in, driven, nice drive, nicely stopped at mid-on. Slightly unconventional way of fielding there, but fielded nonetheless. Probably saved a couple. This is what Worcestershire need to do. They just need to build on what they have so far. An absolutely tortuous session right at the end of last night. Tortuous in the sense that every ball felt like it was going to be doing something, and 4 wickets tumbled. I think even the Surrey fans here, Frank, they would have been delighted with 4 wickets last night with those 19 overs. Clark in. And this is driven handsomely. This is going to be a big chase for the man in the deep. Managed to get round though, and that's Mitch Santner.
Good shot for 2, that wasn't it?
Yeah, great shot. Good running as well though to pace that. But Santner was probably on the naughty step last night. He's been put out in the deep.
He wasn't the only one yesterday. Apparently, Dylan Pennington, ex-Worcestershire, also penalised, and I think Rishabh Pant as well was done
for being too good.
For being
too flamboyant.
Dissent.
Oh, right, okay. To miss that. Driven once again by Hose. Really good looking drive, by the way. That one before, as you say, on one knee, driven through.
I think so. I'm just checking. Yep, Rishabh Pant given a demerit point for dissent towards the umpires, but Dylan Pennington, he got the old 5-run job, I think, for throwing the ball at the batsman. He did it once playing for Worcestershire at Cheltenham against Gloucestershire. So you think he'd have learned, but you know, get a bit pumped up when you're bowling, don't you? And I mean, I was a wicketkeeper, never really bowled much. Bowled a little bit towards the end of my career in league cricket, and you become somebody else, don't you? You become a monster.
Clark in, cut onto the back foot and straight to point, backward point, and there's no run. End of the over, 108 for 4. You're right. I mean, it's something you see the red mist, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
I
mean, I always preached, you know, as a teacher and a coach and a captain, stay calm. Calm heads win cricket matches. That was one of my mantras. But put a ball in your hand and run up and bowl, and somebody hits you for 4, and then you honestly just turn into somebody else, I think. So I understand it when bowlers get a bit frustrated, but you just got to keep a lid on it, haven't you? For me, but misfield as well. I go to it sounds awful. I know no one intends to do that at all, but off your own bowling, off your bowling, a misfield. Yeah. What are you doing? Yeah.
the hands on your hips and hands in the air, and I mean, no one intends to do it. So I apologise to anyone I've played with and done that to.
Nathan Smith from the New Round bowling to Ben Allison. Slightly on the walk, Allison goes for a swing at this, misses it, taken on the body, runs to slip. Somebody's had a go at the quiz. Mitch, he says, I've had a look through some old Worcestershire books. My dad has. That's cheating. No, you might need to for this. And I think the answer is Phil Simmons. No, it's not, sadly. But he's had a go. If you want to, who's the Worcestershire bowler? And I'll give an extra. He played in my lifetime. Who took 204 more wickets in first-class cricket than he scored runs. It is quite remarkable. There's Nathan Smith in. Bowls short, and Allison is swinging this one around, and he is getting a boundary this time. 2 men out on the leg side. In case he gets a top edge, it's a deliberate trap being set, and he's taken it on, the night watchman, and he's swivelled round, and he's got a boundary. Good shot from Ben Allison, who said to me last night, as I've already said a couple of times, and I said, you think you're going to come in, the idea is to come in the morning and believe you can get past 100 lead or whatever. And he said, you've got to believe. What's the point otherwise? You've got to believe. So far, so good. He's on 27. Smith in to him again. He's on the walk, playing back up the pitch to the bowler. And there's no run. 112 for 4, which is lead by 31. And these two this morning have added 43 runs. And they've done it pretty well. Couple of alarms. Probably the worst of them when the ball just took off and went over the wicketkeeper's head for 4 byes. But they've chanced their arms a little bit. They've tried to be positive. That's the important thing. They haven't just sat back and allowed the Surrey bowlers to bowl at them. This one's short of a length outside the off stump and fended out on the offside by Allison. Yeah, by the way, that quiz question, if you weren't here when I gave out the details, at Frank Watson 58 if you want to have a go on Twitter or X. And also Rita alongside me at Rita Green UK is on the same platform. We welcome comments from listeners, provided they are clean, constructive and praising our brilliant commentary. Smith is in, bowls. Joke that was, by the way. Pushed out on the offside by Allison. 112 for 4 then, Worcestershire in the test match. As far as I'm aware, England still haven't lost a wicket, and they have reached, I'll just check the exact score, 47 without loss, so 324 more runs needed. That's been a cracking game, isn't it? Well, especially if they get close. Just imagine the tension if they're 7 or 8 down and they still need 30 or so. It'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? Here's Smith in, bowls short and swivelling round and caught. So he's taken it on one time too often, but the trap, which has been quite deliberately set, has been, well, it's worked. A really, really good catch in the deep. Nathan Smith gets the wicket, top edge from Ben Allison. Having hit the shot successfully earlier in the over, this time not picking out the fielder Tom Laws running in from square leg, diving forwards. A really good catch, got 2 hands to it. We expect these catches to be taken these days, but nonetheless that was a really, really well judged effort by Tom Laws as Ben Allison took it on and Laws dived forward at square leg and took the catch. He wasn't on the boundary, he was deliberately placed about 20 yards inside. So the stand is over and Worcestershire are 112 for 5. But Ben Allison, that was a pretty good effort for a night watchman. He's made 27, but Nathan Smith has got his 3rd wicket of the innings.
Yeah, cracking catch. Right down on his bootlaces and in front of you as well, so they can be tricky. I thought for a moment Tom Laws just didn't quite see it properly, actually, maybe, and just then took a leap forward, but safe enough. and nicely taken. It was just a tiny bit of hesitation, but as you say, quite often those catches are dropped. That's a surprise rather than it taken. And what a great partnership that was. Such a shame, really, because they were going along quite swimmingly, and Alison just took the ball from the offside and tried to get his hands under it. For young batters out there, you're trying to get your wrist over it rather than uppishly. And basically, it was a big top edge, and the rest is history. But yeah, a good partnership nonetheless. And they need to do this again with Brooks now at the crease. Partnerships is what's in order today.
66 added for that 5th wicket, which is just what the doctor ordered when Worcestershire were 46 for 4. But yeah, they're only 35 ahead. I reckon they've got to get at least 150 ahead to even have a chance. I mean, anything over 100, you could say, well, it's something, but you've got to be realistic. It's a powerhouse of a Surrey side. But good work from Nathan Smith. The trap was set. He'd been hit for one boundary, didn't bother him, went for it again and got the wicket.
Right, change of bowler. Fisher is in. Pushed into the onside by Hose, who's on strike. I'll be hoping to have a partnership now with Brooks. Ethan Brooks, that is. As opposed to Henry Brooks, who I've seen a couple of times this season for Middlesex. And their mannerisms are quite similar as well, actually, aren't they? In quite a lot of degrees. But anyway, here's the new batter.
Slightly different characters, I would say.
Oh, really? Okay. I don't know them personally. I know them in cricketing ways. Right, the right-handed batter takes guard, and now we're waiting for Fisher, who'll be looking to do exactly what he did yesterday. In. Oh, this one jumped up. Oh, and that's cracked him on his right hand.
And he's had problems with that hand before this season.
That hurts a lot. That's a stinger. That's just what you want, isn't it, with your first delivery out there? I think Hose is doing the right thing as well, just coming down and doing a bit of fake gardening, so to speak, but just wanting to have a little quiet word with his partner.
Bob Price been in touch. He says it's Moeen Ali. No, it's not Moeen Ali, I'm afraid. Answer to the quiz. I think his numbers would be very different from that.
Matt Fisher for the Diglis end. In and defended nicely this time. Oh, I think he's still feeling that right hand a little bit. Brooks, quite rightly, that was a stinger.
Yeah, nasty, isn't it, when you get one like that, especially first up. Mind you, if you walk out there and you're not quite focused and you're not quite in the zone, nothing like a bang on the hand to just wake you up and say, hey, mate, get real, make sure you're switched on. Have a look at it. All senses engaged.
Fisher passed the umpire in and defended, and there's no run. Yeah, wakes you up pretty quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I find that personally, if there's a moment where, I don't know, you've got away with it, or you've been hitting the ribs a little bit, and you think, well, okay, it can't get any worse now, so you might as well. Almost a sense of freedom as a batter. But Matt Fisher, I thought I was really impressed with him last night. Just a quality.
Just bowled well all game. Really.
Yeah, just line and length.
Yeah. And
that those nagging deliveries, which batters hate. But this one through to the keeper and no run. But that sort of consistency. Glenn McGrath was always just brilliant at that, wasn't he? Just absolutely on the money.
Stephen Rhodes, who was the keeper here at Worcester when Glenn McGrath played briefly for Worcestershire. I was talking to him about this just the other day, and he said, he could almost count on one hand the number of balls that he took from Glenn McGrath down the leg side. Just never drifted down the leg side. Or almost never. Which is
incredible.
Yeah. But not that hard to believe when you think back to how good he was.
Last ball of the over from Fisher. This one's left alone. Let's call it what it is. A very good lead from a batter's perspective and awfully close from the bowler's perspective. Matt Fisher still is hunched over with his hands on his legs and cannot believe that missed the bails of stumps. But in the scorer's book, that would just be a dot ball. End of the over, 113 for 5. The lead now 36, just one of the over.
And good morning to listeners to 5 Sports Extra 2 from New Road, Worcester. Lovely morning here, day 3 of this game between Worcestershire and Surrey. Began with Worcestershire on their 69-4 overnight score. And in the first hour, they've played pretty well. They've lost the night watchman, Ben Allison, for 27, but not until he'd added 66 for the 5th wicket with Adam Hose, who's still there on 40. And Worcestershire have got themselves in front. They're only marginally in front, 36 runs ahead with 5 wickets remaining in their second innings. As Nathan Smith comes in and bowls short to Hose, who just lets that go outside the off stump, and it's taken athletically climbing to his left by Rory Burns, the Surrey skipper, who's also keeping wicket in this game. So 1 man out today, Ben Allison for 27. That was a 3rd wicket for the Kiwi Nathan Smith, who we're seeing bowling at the moment, 3 for 34 his figures so far. Smith well known here at New Road, having been a member of the Worcestershire side last year, but very much against them today as he runs in from the New Road end and bowls outside the off stump, and Hose on the back foot. He's driving into the covers, but Mitchell Santner is sharp, moving to his left. Very good fielder, Santner, and he prevents any addition to the score. Good to have you with us. I'm Frank Watson from BBC Hereford and Worcester. At the end of this over, I'll be replaced here by Mark Church from BBC Radio London, and the other voice that you all hear is that of Rita Green from BBC Radio Berkshire. And we're watching a good game of cricket, dominated by the powerhouse that is the county champion Surrey, but Worcestershire hanging in there at the moment as Smith bowls and Hose plays this one off the front foot back up the pitch to the bowler. So the men out last night as Worcestershire collapsed really early on to 46 for 4 in the 12th over were Gareth Roderick for 4, Henry Nichols the Kiwi without scoring, Kashif Ali for 12 and Jake Libby for 20. But good effort to add 66 for the 5th wicket by Hose and the night watchman Ben Allison. But this has all been in the face of pretty accurate and threatening Surrey pace bowling. Smith in short, and Hose accepts the challenge and is he's caught actually in the deep. It's a brilliant catch. The second wicket that Nathan Smith has bounced out this morning. He's bounced out Allison and now he's bounced out Hose. I hesitated because it almost went for 6. Top-edged hook shot and a really, really good catch. We see it all the time in T20 cricket, of course, but not often in the Championship cricket. It wasn't one where the fielder had to throw it back into the boundary having caught it, but it's Tom Laws who took a good diving catch running in to dismiss Ben Allison, this time running back and caught it just inside the rope at deep backward square leg, just regained his footing without having to throw the ball back in, and a really good piece of fielding. Nathan Smith has struck twice in 2 overs, and Worcestershire, having had a really good first 55 minutes, haven't had a really good first hour because they've lost 2 wickets in the space of 2 overs, and they find themselves now 113 for 6, leading by only 36 and with 2 new batsmen at the crease. Nathan Smith has picked up his 4th wicket, and Worcestershire, having played so well for the first hour, are in deep trouble again now, Rita.
Cracking catch right on the boundary rope, and it's that man Tom Laws once again, the man born on Christmas Day, the 22-year-old. Really, really good catch. He made it look very, very simple. It was coming over really his right shoulder, and actually if Hose had got any more on that, it would have flown over his head for 6 and caught in the deep. And actually Sam Curran was pretty close by as well, so when you're taking those catches you're always conscious as well about people around you, but kept a cool head, and really much the danger man really for Surrey to pile on some runs. Adam Hose is back in the dressing room. Bit of a shame really, he was going along rather well. 2 men were put out in the deep for the trap, and lo and behold he was taken. Hello to Mark Church, but the next ball from Smith comes in. belter of a one, or they always are really from Smith, aren't they? He's always bustling in and making things happen. A dot ball, but hello to you, Mark. Good morning.
Good morning,
Oh, no, sorry.
Rita.
Good afternoon by 2 minutes.
As it is now. Well, two things I've learned is that Nathan Smith is an extremely good, proper, aggressive, quick bowler, and I didn't realise that Tom Laws was born on Christmas Day. There you are.
My extensive research, which I hope is absolutely spot on, and why would that ever be in question?
Him and Alistair Cook.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah. Right, here comes Smith in. Driven, but straight to cover. No run. Yes, I mean, this is what I bring, to the commentary box,
Yes,
as well as chocolate. There's a little bit of
Very good.
strange knowledge as well. But a great over, and a wicket in the over as well. So the two batters overnight back in the dressing room, both Allison out for 27, Hose out for 40. So fresh new batters at the crease, and 6 down now for Worcestershire, 113 for 6.
Yeah, and the reason I say that with Nathan Smith is what we've seen is it's been balls of a length, really, that have caused all sorts of problems for the batters in this game. But Smith has switched aggressive short pitch bowling, and he's done both Allison and Hose now, as Fisher from the Diglis end is into Brooks. So Brooks yet to get off the mark, Waite yet to get off the mark, 113 for 6 Worcestershire, and Surrey right on top again here. But yes, Nathan Smith there, he's just charged in from this new road end and has bounced both Hose and Allison. That was a very good catch from Tom Laws, because he could have easily lost his balance and gone over the boundary rope. He probably had Sam Curran in the corner of his eye as well, but he actually made it look pretty straightforward, taking it over his right shoulder and then getting that right foot down inside the rope just to keep his balance. As Fisher, over the wicket he comes to Brooks. That's a good leave, seeing his off stump is still standing, because that's nicked back. I reckon that's gone over the top of his off stump. Taken by Rory Burns, going away to his left hand side. But Brooks letting that go, and that's nipped back. And I would have thought, when you see it upon the replay, I'd have said that's probably just gone over his off stump.
Oh,
yeah, it has. It's gone straight over the top of his off stump. So it's a very good lead, that, from Brooks. Waite played very nicely in the first innings, and they're going to need him to do it again here. Oh, Worcestershire. There are a couple of slips in there. As Fisher, right arm over the wicket, he comes to Brooks. Oh, big shout for LBW. That's out. That's absolutely stone dead. Great bowling from Fisher. Even though Brooks thinks he's got a stride in there, umpire Nigel Long has seen what the previous delivery did, and it's nipped back and hit that front pad, and Brooks goes without scoring, and all of a sudden from 112 for 4, and Allison doing a really good job with Hose, there's suddenly 113 for 7 Worcestershire. But it's good bowling from Matt Fisher. As I say, it was the previous delivery that did him, and even though he's got a stride in, Nigel Long, if he's short, that finger goes straight up. And then seeing it again, it's hit the knee roll and out. So out. A very good bit of bowling that. Yeah, it has. I thought it was LB, but it's actually nipped through back pad, and not either way. It's hit the top of the front pad. I think it was LBW and bowled.
Yeah.
I think he's both there. And I think it's hit the top of that front pad and then come back straight onto the top of off stump.
It looks like officially it was bowled, but you're right. I mean, the umpire, the
put his
finger went up.
So I think the initial appeal was for LBW. I think it's out LBW, and then hitting the front pad and coming back onto the stumps. So really, Brooks is 0 for 2 there, which is unfortunate, and he'll make his way back up the steps. But Fisher now 3 for 39. But yeah, Nigel Long immediately put his finger up with the appeal. He was giving that LBW, but what it's done is it's nipped back, hit that front pad, and then gone back onto the stumps. So yeah, up went the finger, and then I think umpire Nigel Long noticed the bails had come off as well. So as I say, that's virtually 0 for 2. And Tom Taylor is making his way out into the middle. And 113 for 7 now. Worcestershire. And as I say, they've gone from 112 for 4 to suddenly 113 for 7.
Yeah, he was probably out. That's my girly friends call it out. There's a different way. This is bowled and LB pretty much all in one.
Fisher then, first ball for the right-handed Taylor. Oh, that's gone off a length and hit the bottom glove. Suddenly the pitch has woken up again. It didn't do a huge amount in the first 50 minutes, but all of a sudden this pitch has woken up. And Brooks got hit on that bottom hand first up. Will Jacks is rehearsing playing ramp shots here. I did wonder whether, seeing what the pitch is doing at the moment. Now, Sibley and Burns, or Sibley and Patel, very fine opening pair. But if Surrey don't have a lot to chase, it might be worth bugging Jacks out there and just saying, get on with it. As Fisher, in over the wicket he comes, and forward goes Taylor. It's a little bit uppish, stopped on him a touch, I think. Rolls out towards Santner to mid-off. So the 3 wickets we've seen this morning here on Sports Extra 2 have been Allison, who played very nicely, actually, the night watchman for his 27, but then looking to Paul Smith and was caught by Laws. Then Hose, exactly the same. Short ball, looked to hook it. Top edge, great catch running back. And then Brooks, LBW and bowled by Matt Fisher and going without scoring. As Fisher is in and Taylor is off the mark in nice fashion, just turns this off the stumps into the leg side, and they will pick up a single. And 114 for 7 then Worcestershire, and that means they lead by just the 37. So that equates to 37 for 7. I went and had a little sit on the benches near the ladies' pavilion. There's nobody in the ladies' pavilion. There's sort of a few people, very pleasant, and a nice view, sort of square of the wicket. And when you're watching Nathan Smith charging in square of the wicket, it gives you a much better idea of the pace he's bowling. And he's bowling quick at the moment, and he really is. And again, this is why he is such a good addition to this Surrey attack, and he was for Worcestershire last year.
Yeah, quality bowler. He just holds up one end, doesn't he? So nicely, keeps the pressure on. And with Matt Fisher at the other end, well, you're wondering as a Worcestershire batter where the runs are going to come from. Right, start of a fresh new over, and here indeed is Smith bustling in, defended by Tom Taylor, and there's no run. Have you ever had many commentary positions square of the wicket? I can think of the Cheltenham.
Yes, that's
Cheltenham's
true.
one,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's
But I
one,
can't think
yes.
of many others.
Let me think where I've been. Well, in the porter cabin at Taunton, with the sun straight in your face. That was an interesting experience. And it was like a sauna with Anthony Gibson after 4 days.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it was. If there's anyone I want to be in a sauna with, it would be Anthony Gibson.
Smith in. This one's a short one. Past the head of Tom Taylor and through to the keeper. No run.
Where else with square of the wicket? It's a good question, that, actually.
You do get a different perspective. You're
You
right. I
do.
mean, we're so used to, so lucky to have commentary boxes in a standard manner behind the bowler's arm, or we're slightly off, I know, today, but generally in that type of premium view.
I would always say to anybody, if you want to get an idea of what pace they're bowling, go and sit square of the wicket. You get a much better idea.
Here comes the Kiwi, Nathan Smith, in. This one's defended and there's no run. Yeah, I mean, he's quality international, of course. A couple of tests, 10 ODIs, former Worcestershire player, of course. And this is his debut season, isn't it, for Surrey?
Yeah, it is.
And just 26 in age as well. So look, if he can play a part for Surrey this season, maybe there could be a more long-term view. But he's varying up where he's bowling from the crease position as well. This is another thing that I think the modern day bowlers do brilliantly well. Yeah, and Bumrah, Jasprit Bumrah, was talking about this last night, I know, on the telly for the test match. Right, Smith in. This one's a short delivery, but safe enough, and down to Sam Curran. Just one more to the total, 115. I'm assuming it hasn't rolled over. 115 for 7. There we go. And the runs have seriously dried up. So the first wicket of the day went when the scoreline was 112 for 5. So since then we've lost a couple of wickets and only put 3 runs on the board. But yeah, Jasprit Bumrah was talking about the angle with which he bowls in and varying that up. And I was thinking to myself, you bowl like that probably in the same place every time. That's bad enough. But when you change the angle, it gives the batter something to think about. Smith in. Oh, this one jumped up a little bit there to wait. Safely played out to cover, and there's no run.
Well, as I say, I watched Bumrah the other day with my mum on the telly, and even Mum turned to me and said, "There aren't many people that bowl like this, are there?" And I went, "No." And then she said, "He doesn't even really run in." And I said, "No." And then she said, "And he seems to cause a lot of trouble." And I said, "Yes." Your mum should
unique. Commentate with you. I think that
she's brilliant. She's like the Oracle.
Smith in. Back foot punch to point. There's no run.
She's like the Oracle, and she also thinks everybody's what a lovely looking lad. That's what she always says. What a lovely looking lad. That's what she always says. But yeah, look, but Bumrah's a one-off. You couldn't teach anybody to be able to bowl like that. And I was saying, Kevin Howes was with me. We were up at Chesley Street. I think it was during the COVID time actually, and India were over and they were playing a warm-up game or whatever it was against an ECB 11, I think. And I watched Bumrah warm up in the morning, and actually, to be fair, off one pace he's exactly the same as he is off his 8 paces. It's just an extraordinary action, and he's an extraordinary bowler. He really is. As in over the wicket then comes Fisher from the Diglis end. Oh dear. Well, this is a leading edge from Taylor that has flown over the slips. He was looking to deposit that towards mid-wicket, and it's flown over the slips, couple of bounces, and down to the third man boundary rope for 4. So not where he intended, but 4 valuable runs for Worcestershire. 119 for 7. He reminds me a little bit of a catapult, Bumrah. Sort of a medieval catapult, but the wrist position is ridiculous. As in comes Fisher. Oh, shout for LBW. That one is plumb. We saw Taylor try it the previous delivery, and he's tried it again here, whipping round that front pad, and that time is definitely LBW. And Taylor has gone for 6. And it's 119 for 8. And yeah, he played it the previous delivery and got a leading edge, and it had flown over the slips down to the third man boundary rope for 4. And it's a good bit of bowling from Fisher, because he's gone into exactly the same spot again, and this time Taylor missing it. And I would have thought he's absolutely bang in front here. Yeah, he is. You don't get more plumb than that. And he's looked back at the stumps, but when it hit him, he was bang in front of middle stump on the knee roll. So it's a good bit of bowling. And you actually sometimes don't get more plumb than that. And up went the finger from umpire Nigel Long. So Taylor has gone. And we are sort of rapidly heading towards the end of this Worcestershire innings, because they're 42 runs ahead. But now, Rita, they're 8 wickets down.
In a flash, it feels like only a moment ago there was a partnership, promising partnership between Allison and Hose. That partnership of 66 was significant, but it's the Fisher and Smith show going on out here. Both got 4 wickets apiece, and with 2 wickets remaining. Look, I know, I'm not a bowler, I'm more of a batter, but captaining a few times, and I'm sure all of you listening out there has played the game a little bit. You'll know they'll both want a fifer of some sort, won't you? But I know it's about the game, it's about the team effort. But both of them are bowled beautifully, both yesterday and today. Yeah, as you say, Mark, the one before that bizarre leading edge, which flew up in the air almost towards us for 4. And I think that Tom Taylor's eyes lit up once again, didn't he? He thought, well, this time I'm not going to play it quite as early as I did before. But actually he missed it entirely, unfortunately. Yeah, and plumb.
Why a good piece of bowling from Fisher didn't go off his line in length. And the previous delivery hadn't gone where Taylor wanted it to go, so he just stuck to exactly that plan and got his reward. So the left-handed Singh is out there in the middle, and Fisher will come round the wicket to him. So 119 for 8 now, Worcestershire, as Fisher is in and Singh is forward, and will get off the mark first ball. Good bit of work, tumbling away to his right by Tom Laws, who's been very lively in the field this morning, as Mr. Laws, tumbling away to his right. And 120 for 8, Worcestershire. So their lead now moves on to 43. And that brings Waite onto strike. He's yet to get off the mark. But as I say, in the first innings, he played very nicely, did Matthew Waite. And he made 68 in that first innings total of 214, which was 209, of course, as thick inside edge from Waite to get off the mark, past his stumps, down towards fine leg. So Laws has to come round from deep backward square to do the fielding, and they'll pick up a couple of runs. And 122 for 8 now, Worcestershire. So they lead by 45. Matt Fisher goes marching back to the top of his mark. It was only a matter of time before Fisher got his rewards. He's bowled beautifully for Surrey this season without the wickets column being disturbed properly as much as it should have been, but he's got them in this game as Fisher is in to Waite. And Waite uppishly, it stopped on him, looking to turn it leg side again, and that was looping towards Dan Lawrence at mid wicket, just stopped on him, just held in the pitch. This is very tough at the moment, it really is. And Waite comes down to do a touch of gardening, and then will settle himself down over his bat once more. Not too many in the ground today, but those that are here are enjoying what they're seeing, and it's a nice day for watching cricket today. Although most days are nice days for watching cricket, aren't they? As Fisher there, well, he was about to get started and then put his hands on his knees. Did Fisher? He's ready to go now. As over the wicket he goes to Waite. Waite's taking a couple of paces down the pitch, and then you have to say, a massive yahoo into the leg side. Misses it completely, and it hits the pads and rolls away. So I think Waite's also decided now to play some shots, which is probably the way to go about it. End of the over. Successful one for Matt Fisher here on 5 Sports Extra 2. And BBC Hereford and Worcester, BBC Radio London, BBC Sport website and app, and on your smart speaker. Just say BBC Sounds, play Worcestershire against Surrey. And your smart... No, you don't even have to say the day anymore, I've been told.
Oh, right, Frank thought you needed to say day.
I don't think you do. I sort of got another email saying you can now leave the day out.
Ah, okay.
So yes, if everybody's now hearing the opening session of day 1, I really apologise, but I was told that you don't have to say that anymore.
And actually, if you're saying it on air, on the radio now, and your Alexa etc. is hearing it, here's Smith in. This one's defended. There's no run. We're now probably triggering a double amount of commentary going on in people's living rooms, etc.
So there you go. 2 of them.
Oh, what lucky people!
Oh my goodness! Yes, that could cause chaos, couldn't it? And you had it on too loud, and you were on your other Alexa listening to the hits of the 80s, and then Alexa overhears us saying that, and then goes to, oh my goodness,
chaos.
Yes.
We're here to help, ladies and gentlemen. But Nathan Smith continues, by the way, from the New Road End, and Fatih Singh, the left-handed batter, on strike. Nicely played to the point region. Just waited into that one and be glad to get off the mark.
You'd probably be glad to get out the other end.
That too.
I would have thought at the moment. I think that's the best end to play Nathan Smith from.
Yeah. It's just a nice feeling, isn't it, when you're like, phew. Good luck, mate.
Look, $1 million from that end.
Both Nathan Smith and Fisher just bowl beautifully. Different types of styles. Fisher's getting some drift in and very dangerous balls. It feels like every ball could be an LB. Here's Smith in. And this one's a short delivery from the Kiwi. and there is no run. In fact, it's so short that it is officially a wide.
Yeah, well taken by Rory Burns off his feet.
He's done brilliantly well. I mean, we've barely talked about any issues. I mean,
No,
is there anything he can't do?
I'm not sure
Is he good
what
at Scrabble?
Singing's like, and I'm not sure I ever really want to find out, to be fair. I'm not sure. His sort of washing of clothes used to be absolutely dreadful.
Really?
Yeah, some of his clothes, I think, used to walk out of the dressing room and on their own. Seems a bit better now.
Nathan Smith in for the third delivery of the over in. This was defended by Waite, who did brilliantly well in the first innings, and Worcestershire will be hanging on to that. That's Matthew Waite, rather. 68 runs in that first innings.
I think the problem he's got here, though, is, he's only got another batter to come after this, so he's going to have to sort of work out a way of making that scoreboard move a touch, and it's not going to be easy on here. It really isn't, because what's that lead at the moment? 47. So it's really 47 for 8.
Next delivery, Smith in. Shorter delivery, pulled into the onside, but there's a man in deep. Is that man born on Christmas Day? I'll re-mention that. Why not? Tom Laws. He took a brilliant. Both of them were really good catches. The first one, I think he just. It's slightly maybe just got lost in the clouds a little bit initially, but dived forward, took a really good catch at his bootlaces pretty much, and the second one was almost sort of going over his right shoulder. They are always tricky. You've got the boundary rope to consider. You've got your colleague only a few paces away to consider.
Got Sam Curran charging at you out the corner of your eye.
Yeah, indeed. Here's Smith. Next delivery.
Oh, hello.
Oh, and this is out. Bit of a nick and given. A swoosh. Try to pull it into the onside. An extravagant shot in play, but
the interesting thing with that, and I can understand it, Waite is livid at the non-striker's end, because Singh there, it was banged in. He's tried a hook shot. He was very late on it. He's gloved it, and he's caught behind, and it's 5 for Nathan Smith. But Waite's probably... look, let me do that. You've only had a couple of balls to face there, but as it is now for Waite, he's only got one to come. But that's 5 for Smith, and well bowled, Nathan Smith. 5 for 38.
Yeah, he's got his fifer. It wasn't the right delivery, and I think Singh will probably agree with me there too, to pull in that manner. And he'll be livid himself. He's played the stroke that he wanted to play, or the way that he wanted to play it, 3 or 4 times as he walks off the pitch. The scoreline now, 125 for 9. The lead, well, not very much, and certainly nowhere near enough, you'd think. Stranger things have happened. What is it? Well, we'll come on to that in a moment, what the lead is. 40-something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 48 now.
48, thanks.
But no, I think the thinking there from Waite is, listen, if you've got a ball that, shoots along the floor at you or wraps you on the glove, but actually let me do the clever stuff. And that one was banged in, and just looked to play the hook shot and just gloved it, and Rory Burns taking a pretty simple catch away to his right hand side. So it's 5 for 38 for Smith, and Jacob Duffy, the final Worcestershire batter, is out there. And the lead is just the 48 runs at the moment for Worcestershire, with Surrey needing one more wicket to finish this off and then get out there and try and get the runs.
Kiwi to Kiwi now. So got Nathan Smith with Jacob Duffy on strike. What can they do to try and get the lead even further? 48 at the moment. Smith in.
Out.
And out immediately. Little Nick through to the keeper, and the innings is over in an absolute flash, don't you think, Mark? I mean, I feel like it was only a moment ago. In fact, when I sat down, I think it was the first wicket of the day, and in a flash the innings is completely over. Out for 125. Oh, Mark, what do you think? Do you think it might be a bit of Sam Curran and...
No, I think what you've seen there is that on this pitch, with this Surrey attack, that they are just an exceptionally good bowling attack. And Smith has finished with a 6 for 38. And sort of no mucking around really there to Duffy. And, you know, for the number 11, it's a back of a length delivery that's climbed on him. And he's looked to give himself a bit of room, and it's just stick the outside edge of the bat and taken by Rory Burns. So, you know, again with Surrey, it's extremely efficient. It really is. And Allison and Hose played very well for 50 minutes. And then what you have to say is the first one goes, Allison goes with the score on 112, and then 13 runs later, it's all over, and Surrey will need to go out there and score 49 to win the game. So, you know, that's why they've been the champions for the last 3 seasons, in the fact that they've come across a pitch that's got quite a bit in it. And as I say, with this bowling attack, if you give them anything to work with, and all credit to Allison and Hose, I thought they played really well for that 50 minutes. But the door opens, and Surrey just kick the door down and barge through it, and get the job done very, very quickly. So as I say, it'll just be the 49 needed by Surrey, and Nathan Smith finishes with, well, best figures for Surrey, those 6 for 38, and Fisher at the other end 4 for 47. So those two have shared all 10 wickets in that second innings.
And I didn't even have a chance to talk to you about Dan Worrell, and this is all without Dan Worrell.
He's had a lovely forward.
Yeah, he's had. So I'll leave you with Frank for the reply, Mark. But yeah, it's been clinical, isn't it,
Yeah.
from Surrey?
That's the word, Rita, I was looking for. I went through at least 250 words and couldn't find the right one, and then thankfully you have, so that's good. But clinical, very, very clinical from Surrey. And I think, as I say, I think that the impressive thing there from a Surrey perspective and a cricketing perspective is, as the door opened, they've just barged straight through it and finished it all off very, very quickly. Welcome back, Frank. And
Good afternoon.
yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, couldn't have really put it any more succinctly than that. The door was open and they barged through it. I thought Worcestershire probably a little bit tame towards the end, to be fair, having played so well for an hour or so this morning. They rather painfully capitulated, didn't they, towards the end, to falling into Smith's trap. And the man who was so popular here last year coming back and undoing Worcestershire, I believe it's his best figures in English cricket, 6 for 38, bowled very well. And the Surrey juggernaut was sort of irrepressible, really, and I've no doubt they'll come out and knock off these runs in next to no time and wrap up a comprehensive win.
I think a mention there for Tom Laws as well, because those were 2 very, very good catches.
Yeah,
eminently droppable. And,
both of them
hung on to both.
Yeah, very, very good catches, and you know, that partnership of 66 for the 5th wicket gave Worcestershire hope, but you could argue, couldn't you, that they didn't need to play those shots. They could have seen the trap and thought, well, I'm not going to play that shot. But that's easier said than done. And actually, they were trying to be positive. And Allison had got away with, played one good pull shot for 4, but 2 good catches. And thereafter, Brooks 0, Taylor 6, Singh 2, Duffy 0. They did sort of fall away.
Yeah, and I suppose, well, I'm not sure they'll knock off the 49 in half an hour before lunch. Sorry,
it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, I suppose they could. I think they'll go normal. I did wonder whether they might sort of, I don't know, bump Jacks up there but I think with Sibley and Patel, I would expect to open again, and Burns at 3. So I think they'll keep it exactly as it was. But yes, it's a nice looking scorecard, that, for Nathan Smith. And I suppose when you come back to a county that you did so well for, and he's obviously got a lot of friends here, but it's that sort of professional mentality, isn't it, really? You're not going to sort of lay back because you had a lovely time here last year.
No, absolutely not.
Go out there and try and win it for the side you're playing for now.
Exactly.
But I think everybody's seen there why he is such a good bowler. What I love about him is the aggression and the he keeps coming at you, and I think Fisher and Smith in this second innings have complemented each other absolutely perfectly. You've got Fisher hitting a good line and a good length and nipping it both ways, and then you've got Smith at pace charging in, and if he can go to that short ball and cause all sorts of trouble. So yeah, I think it's the perfect combination for Surrey this morning. So yeah, just the 49 more runs for Surrey to pick up what would be a very valuable win in the context of the championship table. And of course all their away games so far this season have been, well, draws on day 4, so this one has been a little different, and that was all in 36 overs, so all out for 125 in 36 overs. England seemed to be going quite well in the test match as well, from what I saw. I think Messrs Crawley and Duckett are setting up the start of the run chase. So the latest I've got is that England are 96 without loss. So need another 275 to win. Duckett's 56 and Crawley's 34. So yeah, that's an excellent start to the run chase. My hard-hitting summary of the test match this morning to BBC Radio Surrey of, well, whatever happens, it'll be over today, was brilliant, as they then told me that today is the last day of the test match. So, yes, whatever happens, it will be done today.
You don't get an insight like that without having spent a long time around the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quiz question. I'll give the answer, I think, because we're not going to be here for that much longer. A few people have struggled with it. Nobody's got it, actually. Some people thought there might be a Surrey connection. There wasn't a Surrey connection. It is a straightforward one. We've had a Doug Slade was one guess. Well, Doug Slade was a very good batsman, and there's no way he would have qualified. So which Worcestershire bowler took 204 more wickets in first-class cricket than he scored runs? Obviously, this is somebody who was not a very good batsman, but
May
a very
I have
good
a
bowler.
guess?
Yeah.
Phil Newport.
No, gosh, no.
Could he bat?
Phil Newport was a very good batsman.
Okay, all right.
Scored 98 a couple of times and actually made 40 at Perth for England in a test match when he was called up when he was in Sri Lanka, I think. No, the answer is Bob Carter. Bob Carter, who took over 500 wickets, but only scored about 300 runs in his entire career. In fact, I think he once boasted that he got 100 wickets before he passed 100 runs in first-class cricket. Right. So he was a proper bunny. Might even be listening. If he is, Bob, I hope you're well. Last time I saw him, he was. And Richard, who has just said that he thought Worcestershire were clueless this morning. I don't agree with that. I think. I mean, I'm often criticised, Mark, for not being critical enough, and I've said I think it was a pretty tame demise this morning after that good first hour. But as I say, if you're Hose and Allison and they are being criticised for holding out and falling into a trap, we were just saying, weren't we, in our commentary in the first hour, they're trying to be positive. You can't just sit there and be bowled out. You could argue that he's put 2 men back, so okay, I'm not going to play a hook shot. But when you're trying to be positive and you're in a positive frame of mind, I can see why you play shots, and it's easy. And I will accept if people think I'm not hard enough on them. I will accept it, but I have played enough cricket myself to understand what goes on in a batsman's mind, and I think when your thinking is a little bit scrambled by the fact that you don't feel entirely comfortable on the surface you're on, it is not easy to make what would appear to be pretty obvious and rational decisions. And basically what's happened is that they've gone out there this morning and they've said, right, we are not going to sit there and be bowled at, we're going to try and be positive. They did so really, really well. Allison had already hit 1 for 4. He got the top edge, he got caught. Hose was playing shots, trying to be positive, trying to keep things going. And let's face it, if Worcestershire were going to turn this round and we talk about Chantry's match, how do you do that? You do that by somebody going out there and saying, I'm going for this. You don't do it by sitting back and saying, right. They could have sat there and batted till 3 o'clock and they'd only have been 30 further ahead. So I'm not buying into that argument. They tried, it didn't come off, and then towards the end, maybe they felt the writing was on the wall a little bit, and psychologically, nobody gets out on purpose. They just they just weren't able to cope with what came at them. Nathan Smith is a test bowler with his tail up on a helpful surface. He's got 6 for 38. Fisher's got 4 for 47, hardly bowled a bad ball. I'm not going to be pointing too many fingers.
What I would say is I think most sides would have got rolled over on this pitch against that attack.
We begin with the first ball of the second Surrey innings. 49 is the target. Tom Taylor is the bowler from the Diglis end.
I think you see now why when Surrey go away from home, sides are trying to prepare pitches
of course they are.
that don't do anything.
And I think Worcestershire might have done that had they been able to.
But, absolutely.
Yeah. But they were not able to. They are not able to produce flat pitches at will here at New Road. Taylor in round the wicket and left alone by Patel, who played so well in the first innings. So just to recap, Worcestershire this morning 69 for 4 overnight, and the fifth wicket pair took that partnership on to 66 before they were parted. Allison out for 27, 112 for 5 at that point. Hose then went for 40. They were both caught on the square or deep in the leg side off short balls from Smith, and thereafter they did fall away. Round the wicket, Taylor bowls to Patel, who's pushing this out on the offside, and there's no run. Allison 27, Hose 40, and then Brooks 0, Taylor 6, Singh 2, Duffy 0. Men out, Waite not out for 3, and Smith 6 for 38, and Fisher 4 for 47. The wicket takers. 125 all out Worcestershire. 49 is the Surrey target.
Yeah, and just Surrey bowled very well.
This one is just fended away on the leg side by Patel. No run.
The other thing here is, these 49 runs I don't think will be that straightforward, really. I think we saw how they bowled yesterday, Taylor and Allison. So Surrey will have to... They're not just going to wander out there and smash it to all parts. I think on this pitch you've got to play what's in front of you. But I think there from a Worcestershire point of view today, Surrey would have knocked over, I think, on this pitch with that attack most sides.
Taylor again round the wicket in bowls, and Patel gets the first runs of the second innings. 2 of them just clipped through mid-wicket. Worcestershire have got substitute fielder out there at the moment down in front of us, Rayan Adevalath. I'm not sure who's not on the field. Try and work that out as we go along. What have we got? We've got 20 minutes until lunch, and as you say, I think they'll just play sensibly for the first. I mean, when you're chasing 40 odd, you get to 30, don't you? If you get to 30 and then it tends to get wrapped up pretty quickly. I think Taylor bowls and Patel plays up to mid-off. End of the first over. 2 runs coming from it. 47 more needed. Surrey 2 without loss.
Is young Mr. Hose out there? Because he took that blow to the hand last night. I'm just wondering whether it might be him that's not out there at the moment.
It could be him.
He did. That was quite a blow he took to the hand last night. So it is going to be Ben Allison.
You're right. It is Hose.
I just wonder if that's a...
Oh, hang on.
Is he out there?
No, he's not out there.
No.
Yes, he is. He's at mid-on.
Ah, there you go.
So maybe it's Jacob Duffy, possibly, who would have taken the new ball. So maybe it is Duffy. I think Duffy would have taken the new ball had he been out there, and Allison is actually taking it. So pretty sure it's Duffy who's not out there.
And Allison, of course, is off the back of his 5 for yesterday. Well, very well. So Dominic Sibley will be on strike. Surrey are 2 without loss. Their target's 49. As Allison is into Sibley, who works this one up the ground, and there is no run. But Sibley played nicely yesterday. Patel played nicely. 61 for Patel, 73 for Sibley. It seems a long time ago, doesn't it, Frank, that Surrey at one stage were 160 for 1. and then all of a sudden, all sorts of things started happening. And now here we are with 19 minutes to go until lunch on day 3, and Surrey need just another 47 to win. So it's all happened quite quickly as Allison is over the wicket to Sibley, and Sibley is forward. Plays this one behind him down into the gully region, and there's no run. But at that stage, I think we were all sat here thinking, well, Surrey will sort of probably go on and get a lead of a couple of hundred, and then put pressure back on Worcestershire second time round. But then the pitch started waking up, and Allison bowled beautifully, and 291 all out, and then 69 for 4 at stumps, and then a 66 run partnership between Allison and Hose. Then Allison went, and it went from 112 for 4 to 125 all out. As in comes Allison. Oh, that's nipping back, and oh no, that's hit Sibley again in the unmentionables. He got a couple of those yesterday. Didn't he get 2 of those on the... Or was it Jordan Clark got 2 in 2 balls? Literally. And that one has nipped back and hit Sibley square in the proverbials. So Sibley's taking a bit of a deep breath at the moment. That's not what you want. But that did nip back and bounce at Sibley. He's okay now. He's settled over his bat as Allison's into him, and he's turning this one into the leg side, and there's no run. Those Surrey spectators that have made the trip up here, one of whom I had dinner with last night, who was one of the great men. He said that they're leaving at lunchtime, so he was sort of hoping he'd see something happen this morning. Well, he's seen Worcestershire all out for 125 as Allison is in to Sibley, and Sibley covers up, plays a good length ball back up the ground, and there's no run. I had a very nice Greek meal last night, Frank.
Very good.
Yes, it was lovely, thank you.
Yeah, very good. I'm glad you
were. And then I
ventured across the bridge.
Then I threw my plate against the wall. In front of everybody, thinking that was what you were meant to do. But no, it's very nice.
Yeah, good.
Very nice across the bridge.
Yeah. You don't have to go far to find somewhere decent to have a bite.
Waits again to Sibley. As over the wicket goes Allison to him, and Sibley's forward. Good over this from Allison. And it's a maiden over to start off with. So 2 without loss then, Surrey. Another 47 required for victory. Ryan Patel has 2, and Dominic Sibley's yet to get off the mark, and slightly earlier than usual the ladies' pavilion is open.
Well within the capabilities of Dom Sibley to come out here and smash it and knock these runs off in no time, but he's not going to do it. He's an ultra pro, as you said yesterday, and his job is to come out here and play properly, and that's exactly what he will do, and it won't bother him whatever that if he's just on 2 or 3 not out at lunch, and he'll come out and do it in the afternoon. Patel on strike against Taylor, and he cuts at this one, misses it, bit close to him, taken by Roderick. 2 without loss, 47 more needed. Bright sunshine, not many spectators in today, you wouldn't really expect that. There might have been a few more had Worcestershire been in with more of a chance, but it might even have been a few more if they'd made more of a go of it this morning, but I suspect that those heroes making plans for late afternoon. Taylor round the wicket to the left-handed Patel, who's forward to this, plays back up towards mid-off, and there's no run. I'm thinking in terms of cutting the lawn, I think, probably
lovely.
Later on.
A nice way to spend your afternoon.
Was probably not going to do it until later in the week, but now thinking
sit
on
for
time.
You, Frank, on the estate.
No, absolutely not. No.
Do you know that I've always thought you've made it in life? Yeah. If you have a sit-on mower.
I don't. Yeah, I have used a sit-on mower, not on my own property. I used to add, and not all they're cracked up to be. I don't reckon. Taylor round the wicket bowls, and this one's driven straight up the ground by Patel. Lovely shot. It's not going to go all the way though. It's going to bring him 2 runs. Pursued by Matthew Waite from mid-on. Nice shot. He goes to 4. Total goes to 4. 45 more needed. Not to sit on mower. And yeah, not a huge amount. I mean, it takes me about half an hour probably to do it.
You've made it in life, I
Altogether.
think. Sit on mower,
Yeah.
and then one of those island things in the kitchen.
Ah.
That's I've always
right,
thought. It's all gone all
Yeah.
right if you've got those.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I haven't got either of those.
Neither have I.
Taylor round the wicket. Ball to Patel, taking on the pad, half an appeal, but no more than that. I think he got a bat on it. Had a peninsula in the kitchen when in our last house we had an extension built and sort of redesigned it, and had a bit coming out.
Oh,
It was
very
always,
nice.
but not an island. No, I've never been able to go all the way around it. Interesting how people measure success, isn't it?
I think you're
Yeah.
really sort of making it
Yeah.
as well. If you have one of those taps that sort of
That does
hot-
boiling water.
Yes,
Oh,
hot and cold,
yeah.
and all that stuff.
Well, hot and
That's
cold. I think we can run to that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know about. But I know what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
boiling water on tap. All down the leg side, and a good take by Roderick, diving away to his right, two-handed. No run. 4 without loss early today. If you're just joining us, and I know people do just join us all the time, coming in from work on your lunch break or whatever. Worcestershire, they started well this morning, 69 for 4 overnight, and the 5th wicket pair of night watchman Ben Allison and Adam Hose actually took their partnership on to 66, and the score to 112 before the 5th wicket fell. But sadly, only 13 more added when the 10th wicket fell. 125 all out. Worcestershire. Round the wicket, bowls Taylor, left alone by Patel, taken by Roderick, and there's no run. So 125 all out. Surrey set 49 to win. Nathan Smith 6 for 38. Best figures he's ever had outside of New Zealand. And Matt Fisher 4 for 47 this morning, and Surrey needing 49 to win after 3 overs, 4 without loss. Lunch is just 10 minutes away, but we're expecting this to be wrapped up
Here comes lunch.
fairly soon. Yeah, I don't think I think it might. It's an empty trolley going back.
Oh, is
the
it?
other way,
Oh,
but,
right, yes.
Lunch won't be far away,
No.
but I think we'll probably be done here by about 2 o'clock, won't we?
So it's Allison from the New Road End coming in over the wicket to Sibley. Sibley solidly forward, plays this one back up the pitch, and there's no run. No.
2:30, shall I say?
It's reminding me of when you go and do the weekly shop, that. And the shopping trolleys are sort of
Yeah, rattling
wheeled
around
across the car park.
Yeah.
I always get muddled up with that when you put your pound coin in, and, then you have to put the key in to get your pound coin back, and then it doesn't come out, and then it gets stuck, and then I can't get the trolley out, and then there's a queue of people behind me. Over the wicket comes Allison to Sibley, and Sibley's forward, wants a single, gets a single. Good running. Ryan Patel responding to the call straight away. Gets Sibley off the mark. He'll move on to 1. And Surrey move on to 5 without loss. Ryan Patel in short sleeve sweater. Opening because, of course, Rory Burns has kept wicket in this game for Surrey and kept very tidily. As Rory Burns, first time in 10 years in terms of the championship that he's had the gloves. And, well, it didn't look like it had been 10 years since he'd had the gloves. They kept very, very tight. He didn't even notice he was there, really. As round the wicket goes Allison to the left-handed Patel. And Patel just gets cramped a little for room here. Looking to punch that one through the covers, and there's no run.
Hat-trick for Ryan Higgins today, apparently, for Middlesex. And, at the same time, goes past 300 first-class wickets at an average of, what do you reckon?
For him?
Surprised me.
18?
25.
Oh,
I think it's
actually,
pretty good,
that's
isn't
pretty
it?
good. Yeah, I thought actually it might be a little lower than that.
Pretty
He's a
good.
very good
cricketer.
Yeah,
really
he
good
is.
cricketer.
Allison is into Ryan Patel. He's behind this one. Plays it back up the pitch and then goes for a little wander towards square leg. Does Ryan Patel.
Tell you
Congratulations
what's
to him.
happening elsewhere. So in that game, Middlesex got 413, Northants 376 for 9, and Ryan Higgins 3 for 47. But I think it's a hat trick. Rob Keogh and Luke Guthrie out first ball. So well bowled, Ryan Higgins.
Yeah, excellent stuff.
I agree with you. Very competitive cricketer, I think.
As driving. Oh, it's Patel. It's come off the toe end of his bat. It was right up there. And he looked to drive that. Came straight off the toe end of his bat. And he wanders off again towards square leg. So 1 ball to go of this Allison over. Very tidy start again from Ben Allison. It's been a good week.
Yeah.
With Charlie getting 100 and Ben picking up his 5 foot. Been a good week for the Allisons. Waits again does Ryan Patel. As Allison is in, and that's short, and that's cracked by Patel, but he'll feel he's missed out there. Cracked it away into the covers. But the fielding is good. And it's the end of the over. 5 without loss then Surrey. Another 44 needed for victory. Ryan Patel's on 4. And Dominic Sibley's on 1.
So mentioning that Middlesex game, we'll give you a rundown of the other scores around the country as we approach lunch. Middlesex 4-1-3, Northants 3-7-5 for 9. So they're a long way behind this game in terms of progress. This one nearing its conclusion. Sussex Durham also even Stevens really. Sussex 3-6-1, Durham 3-2-7 in reply. Essex Hampshire. Another one that's still in the first innings. Essex 296, Hampshire 395 for 6. Worcestershire playing Hampshire next. They go down to Southampton at the weekend. Taylor bowls to Sibley, who pushes out on the offside, and there's no run. Glamorgan against Leicestershire. Glamorgan 353, Leicestershire 457 for 7. Another 100 for Rayan Ahmed, I think, in that one. He's turning into not just a leg spinner, but top order batter of some note. Gloucestershire, Derbyshire a bit further ahead. Gloucestershire 187, Derbyshire 398, and Gloucestershire 117 for 2 in their second innings. So they're some way behind in that one. Notts against Yorkshire hasn't got very far ahead. Sibley defends again from Taylor. Notts 487, Yorkshire 220 for 4 in reply. Kent against Lancashire. Kent 374 and Lancashire 211 for 2. So all the other games really, barring one with the Kookaburra, proving to be batter dominated, but not this one. And at Lords, England, not Lords, Headingley, England are 109 without loss, so they need another 262. So it might not just be lawn cutting this afternoon, might be watching a bit of cricket as well, as Sibley edges this one just short, I think, of Allison at third slip. Did it carry? Don't think it did. Ankle height, it's a big man, had to get down. Looks a bit fed up, but I think it bounced just in front. We'll look at the replay in a minute. But yeah, that could be a really, really good test match, couldn't it? England need another 262 to win off 77.4 overs. And as Mark pointed out, they've only got today.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant if there was tomorrow as well. But unfortunately, there isn't.
Well, it might make it a really exciting finish. Taylor in again, bowls. Sibley drives up to mid-on. Just watching that previous one. Out of camera shot. I don't think it carried. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the fielder.
I don't think there was any great sort of
hoo-ha
looks of as if calamity in the slip. So
but then would there have been anyway, I suppose, given the game situation? I don't know. I'm sure we've all been there. You're out there. You know, you pretty much know it's done and dusted. You might be thinking, well, it'd be nice if somebody got a hat trick or something like that, just to put the cat among the pigeons, as it were. But Surrey are on the verge. Taylor over the wicket to Sibley, lets that go outside the off stump.
And what I would say to your gentleman who was talking about the way that Worcestershire played, just look at the way that Sibley and Patel are having to do this at the moment. It's hard work on here.
It is.
It really is. It's not one of those that you can just walk out there and sort of get yourself in and then play shots all round the ground. It's damn hard work out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it has been throughout the game. And it makes you realise that those people that have got a decent score in this game have played really well. Sibley's one of them. Fends this one away on the onside. Fielded by Libby at mid-wicket. Shy at the stumps at the non-striker's end. But they're home. Sibley keeps the strike. We'll have one more over before lunch. And Surrey needing 49 to win. 6 without loss.
And Sibley's taken that one on the bottom hand. Just leapt at him again from back of a length. So, why do they always do that? Sibley's just been hit on that bottom hand, takes his glove off, then walks up to Ryan Patel, and then it's with the hand that he's just been hit on, it's a punch of gloves. But, 6 without loss, another 43 to win for Surrey. And, of course, we're only just approaching lunch on day 3, so I think it's fair to say there's plenty of time to get these 43, as Allison it will be, coming in over the wicket to Sibley, who's down the pitch to him. Shot. That is a brilliant bit of batting from Dominic Sibley, because he's come down the pitch, taking it off a length, and then just rolled the wrists on it. And that has run away down below us for 4. So that's an excellent piece of batting from Dominic Sibley. And it's the first boundary of the piece. Sibley moves on to 6, and Surrey move on to 10 without loss. But, yep, just walked down the pitch towards Allison, took him off his length, and then just rolled the wrist at the last possible moment, and away it whistled for 4 runs, as Allison is over the wicket now to Sibley, and Sibley's forward, playing this one back up the pitch, and there's no run, so 39 more needed by Surrey. In terms of the bonus points in this game, Worcestershire obviously picked up their 3 bowling points. Surrey picked up their 3 bowling points and a batting point. So it's 4-3 on the bonus points for this one. Neither side had got to worry about over rates or anything, as Addison is in, and Sibley's he's come down the pitch now and looked to go over extra cover. And that one has gone past his outside edge. So, yeah, Sibley a la Hose. We saw a little bit of that from Hose this morning, just sort of giving himself, walking down the line of his leg stump to give himself a bit of room. Threw the hands at that one, but it went past the outside edge. This might well be the last over before lunch.
It will be, I think.
Addison comes striding in again, over the wicket to the right-handed Sibley. Forward goes Sibley. Pushes this one straight back up the pitch, and Allison does the fielding off his own bowling. There's a chat between Hose and Allison as he walks back to his mark, and popping a deep mid-wicket out there as well now. So they've got a man out for the short ball at the moment. Kashif out there, as in over the wicket goes Allison. That's down the leg side, and Sibley's having nothing to do with that one. And then taken by Roderick, moving away to his left. So 1 ball to go till lunch, and Surrey at the moment 10 without loss, so another 39 needed by Surrey. And it's been a busy old morning this morning. Those last 6 Worcestershire wickets tumbling away after a very good start from Messrs Hose and Allison. So last ball before lunch, Allison is into Sibley. It's short. Sibley ducks underneath it. I think that... Oh, it's a wide signal. It was so short. We have got another ball to go till lunch, and Surrey will get another run there. So that'll be 11 without loss and 38 more needed by Surrey. So the ladies' pavilion's open now, which means the cakes will be ready now, I suppose. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes,
I guess so.
Yeah. I did see a Surrey supporter this morning, and that was his main concern. Was what time the ladies' pavilion would open for cake, as Allison is in, and forward goes Sibley. Solid looking shot. End of the over, that will be lunch, and Surrey will go to lunch 11 without loss, leading another 38 runs for victory. Ryan Patel is on 4, and Dominic Sibley is on 6.
And there you go, that's it. What happened this morning? Worcestershire lost 6 wickets for 13 runs in 9 overs. Nathan Smith 6 for 38. Matt Fisher 4 for 47. And Worcestershire all out for 125, setting Surrey 49 to win. They've made a solid start. They're 11 without loss. We'll be back with live commentary when play resumes for the final act of this game and that will be at around about 1:40. Until then, thanks very much for being with us, and I'll just stay online myself, ready to update BBC Hereford and Worcester listeners shortly.
Sussex have just begun their second innings at Chester Street. Durham made 327, so Sussex North in order. They're 34 runs ahead on first innings.
Hiya Frank, are we doing an update after the news?
Yeah, I'm ready when you are. are 11 without loss, so they are just 38 runs short of their victory target of 49 after an eventful morning of two halves, with Worcestershire having a good first hour and a pretty disastrous second hour, and they eventually were all out for 125, lost their last 6 wickets for just 13 runs, and set Surrey a modest target of 49. At lunch they had reached 11 without loss, and we're going to see some spin as Fateh Singh begins the first over after lunch with a full length delivery which Ryan Patel drives to the boundary for 4, so 15 without loss. And I kind of think Rita Green, who is alongside me, it's not going to take long.
Good afternoon, Frank. If I'm honest, I didn't think I'd be back in the commentary box. I'm not saying I was settling into a coffee and nodding off. Next delivery is defended and no run. But yes, I don't think they're going to muck around here, are they?
I don't think they are, especially not now that the Seamers have had their little go with the new ball. We only had 6 overs before lunch. Over the wicket, Singh bowls to Patel, short, smashed away on the leg side by Patel, and that one goes to the boundary as well. If you didn't know better, you might think that they've been on the phone in the lunch interval and booked some tea times at the golf club up the road and decided to get it over and done with. So 8 runs from the first 3 balls after lunch, 19 without loss, and Singh in again bowls, and Patel is forward to a better delivery, just pushing this one out on the offside. I don't for a minute suggest that Fateh Singh is happy to be hit to the boundary, because I know he's far too proud a bowler for that, but Patel's just decided enough's enough, stop messing around, and he's driven this one nicely up to mid-off, and there's no run. Sibley is 6 not out. I doubt we'll see much of a change of approach from Dom Sibley, to be fair, but Patel, who played well in the first innings, has got more runs here, just tickling this one down to fine leg. Tom Taylor is in pursuit, and they take 2, so 21 without loss, just 28 more needed, and I think Surrey will be on their way back down south pretty early on this afternoon. End of the over, 21 without loss, 7 gone in the innings, and we're just really witnessing the last rites here, Rita, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm all for a bit of drama on the BBC and here in Worcester and whatnot, but yeah, it would take quite a miracle to turn this one around. Just 28 more runs to win, and it looked like then that Ryan Patel was meaning business there with that really lovely stroke into the onside, and got his body position into it really quickly. Shorter delivery from Fateh Singh, and 4 runs. Right, fresh new over from the New Road End here in Worcester. I'm Rita Green alongside Frank Watson, who's at Frank Watson 58 on X. So do get in touch. There's still time.
Yeah, I've given the answer to the quiz, but you can still get in touch, even if it's to say you were disappointed with what you've seen.
Indeed. Here's Wait in, and this one's defended, and there's no run. And you know, there'll be a lot of soul-searching, I'm sure, after this game, either in any way it goes, but not looking great for Worcestershire. But they can also take some real pride as well, I think, in the way that they bowled yesterday. They didn't let the game get away.
Yeah, I think,
and it could easily have done.
I've read some comments already on social media saying how appalling it was this morning and everything else, but I don't think people have perhaps seen it in quite the same way as I have, or as we have. Just break off as Wait bowls this one.
Next one in, driven, and hits the stumps at the other end. Everyone's safely in, and there's no run.
And by that, what I mean is, you know, particularly, so Allison and Hose done well this morning, added 66 for the 5th wicket. Nathan Smith puts 2 men back, bounces them, and they both get out. Allison took it on, got a boundary before that. Hose had been playing in that kind of way anyway, being quite aggressive. The only way that Worcestershire were going to get into a position where they had any chance to win this game, and they could never draw it, it was going to be one way or the other.
Wait in, driven once again. Tom Taylor goes to his left-hand side, has a nice bit of fielding, no run.
The only way that they could do it, have got into any, and bear with me, viewers and listeners, the only way they could have got into a position where they could win the game was if somebody did something absolutely extraordinary, like Jack Chantry did 11 years ago. Somebody had the day of their lives. Adam Hose smashed 100 off 80 balls, or Ben Allison got his career best, or two of them did. It had to be something like that. So there was no point just sitting there and blocking and trying to stick around and set a target of 90 or something, because it wasn't going to happen. It had to be something a bit different.
Matthew Waite, this one down leg side and just tickled into the onside deep mid-wicket area. They go through for a single. I think you're right. I mean,
that is not to say that they didn't fall away pretty timidly after those two were out, and it's 6 for 13 in 9 overs. Obviously they did, but there was no point in somebody going out there and saying, well, I'm going to show a bit of fight, I'm going to bat for 30 deliveries for my 2, because it wouldn't have made any difference. The only way anything was going to change was if somebody did an Ian Botham at Headingley 1981 or something like that. So you've got to look at it like that, really. And also, you know, people saying this is the worst Worcestershire side they've ever been and they're never going to get any batting bonus points. There've been quite a few years where they didn't win any games. They've won a game in the Championship this year. They've been relegated in the past when they haven't won a game. It's not the worst side there's ever been. You've got to keep things in perspective.
Brian Patel on strike, 14 to his name. This one jumps up at him a little bit, pushes into the onside, no run.
And that's not, I'm not saying they've played well. I'm just saying, you know, just look at the whole picture. And you've got the biggest budget in the country against the smallest here. You've got all sorts of things to take into account. And that is not to say that there weren't some reckless shots played, that people didn't perhaps get stuck in as much as they might have.
Patel on strike again. Oh, misses that one. Too close to the body to cut. Tried to do that, but missed the ball through to the keeper and no run. End of the over, 22 without loss. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Yes, they did fall away quite heavily, but you've got to put it in perspective. Surrey were absolutely ruthless in the way that they were. There was just no gimmies, and actually they had to get creative to get Allison and Hose out, and they planted the trap with a short ball with 2 men out in the deep, and Tom Laws in play twice to take 2 cracking catches. So if you think that they rolled over and could potentially just get the victory here, and you know, it just hasn't happened that way. No.
Singh round the wicket, bowls to Sibley, forward, pushes out on the offside, and that's it. And you know, I'm not saying that they couldn't. Allison and Hose could have said, well, we're not going to play that shot, we're just going to sit here and try and pick up runs elsewhere. Sibley gets a single here off Singh, pushed out square on the offside. But it's hard to be in an aggressive, bold frame of mind trying to play the innings of your life and to say, well, actually, yes, but every time he bowls a short one at me, I'm not going to play a pull shot. So you could say they were caught between two stools. All I'm saying is there's more to it than there appears to be when you look down the scorecard. Singh over the wicket to Patel, plays into the offside, no run, and it you could say, well, they showed a lot of fight because he batted for 30 balls and he stuck around for half an hour. But if you end up only getting another 30 runs, it doesn't make any difference anyway. Singh bowls, Patel drives into the covers, and there's no run. 23 without loss. And apologies, I think a few minutes ago I caught myself just at the end of a sentence. I think I said could have, and I hate that as an ex-English teacher. Could have. I used to absolutely hate that mistake when people made it. Jake Livy has a shy at the stumps at the non-strikers end as they go through for a single. Patel having driven that one up to mid-on. 24 without loss, 25 more needed. Surrey making pretty steady progress, and I'm guessing, I suggested 2 o'clock earlier, it might be just about right, I reckon, as Sibley smashes this one from Singh. And he might well be caught. He is caught at long off. Well, if ever there was a batter that you don't expect to do that, it is Dom Sibley, who's basically chucked it away. He's got a full-length delivery. There's a man quite deep, halfway back, Jake Libby at mid-off, and Dom Sibley's gone to try and deposit the ball into the D'Oliveira stand. Having said he looks as though he'd bat all day, I don't think Mark Church will be able to believe what he's just seen. Dom Sibley's chucked it away. He's holed out in the deep, and Surrey, it won't stop them winning, but it's disturbed their progress a little bit. They're 24 for 1.
Cracking catch from Jake Libby. That was swirling around in the air for quite a while. I thought it went over. I was going to go over his head actually, but took a few paces back. And yeah, Dom Sibley playing not a conventional Dom Sibley shot, and hold out in the deep. And who's going to come out next? That's the question I have in my mind. Will they mix up the order?
Coming into that, Rory Burns.
Oh, no, there's your answer. Rory Burns coming in, the captain.
I was trying to put a little bit of
So we'll have
suspense in there.
We'll have two left-handers out there now. Rory Burns, who kept wicket in this game and played very sensibly in the first innings. He was very disappointed when he got out in the first innings. Rory Burns, he made 34. He got himself in, and he was looking in good shape, and he nicked one, just sort of steered it into the gloves of the wicketkeeper, and was very annoyed with himself. He couldn't really believe what he'd done. But coming out here with a chance to... Well, I know what you'd be thinking, Rita, and I'd be thinking the same. I do not want to get out here. 25 needed. Little 10 not out will do nicely. And what I don't want to do is... we're going to win the game anyway, but I don't want to get out and just dent my average.
Exactly. I was thinking that Dom Sibley would probably be slightly annoyed at his denting his average.
Didn't need to happen, did it?
No.
Didn't need to happen.
I think just a bit of rush of blood to the head, and thought, yeah, that's a nice one. And nice one to Fatih Singh for getting a wicket here.
Yeah.
Well done to him. He's been knocked around a little bit, but it's nice to get a wicket. Of course it is. Anyway, a new over, because that was the last ball of the previous over with the wicket. And Rory Burns will have to wait until he's on strike, and the left-handed Patel on strike. They're both left-handed actually, so yeah, mid on in play there, and there's no run yet. Two left-handers to contend with here. 24 for 1, but in the context of the game, just 25 more runs needed for Surrey. They upped the pace after lunch, and look as though they wanting to not get on with it with complete aggression, but if there's a ball to be hit, they're hitting it. Dom Sibley not middling that one, and a great catch from Jake Libby in the deep. Wait, in from the new road end. Defended by Ryan Patel, and there's no run. Right, coming up then for Worcestershire. Durham next at home. Here on the next weekend, right?
So, no, going to Southampton now. Hampshire away.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah. Shall I look at the right side, correct side? Yeah. Sorry, that's sorry. Yeah, Rita. Let's look at the correct side of my body. Sorry, Hampshire away. Just checking your listing, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. And then Warwickshire away.
Hampshire away,
right?
and then Warwickshire away in the Championship. Yeah.
So you're going to get to know Hampshire quite well, home and away.
I'm not going to that one actually. Dave Bradley's going down to do that one with Kevin James, but yeah. Those are the next two, and
yeah, then you have
they need at least one more win. Obviously, they've only had one win to keep alive any hopes of staying up.
Waiting, driven but straight to point, and there's no run. Good-looking drive, but straight to the fielder.
But yeah, Hampshire away, and then you've got to wait almost a month, then, haven't you, for the next round of Championship games? So. And then it's Hampshire at home, Nottinghamshire at home, Durham away, and Sussex at home to complete the Championship fixtures for Worcestershire. So still some cricket to play.
Yeah, next 3 games after this will be, I'm sure, important for the season. In weights, and lovely on drive, and there's a chase on it. Probably won't go over the boundary rope with this quite slow-paced outfield, but they go through for 2. Good-looking shot there. 2 more to the total. 2 more towards victory, you'd think.
And then, of course, you've got the switch back to the white ball. I always think it's very difficult for. I mean, some teams almost have different squads Derbyshire a couple of years ago, almost a different squad completely for the T20. But in Worcestershire's case, got 8 or 9 people that tend to play on both sides, so they have that challenge of switching over.
Waiting, defended, and there's no run. That versatility is pretty incredible, isn't it? Did you say that Roderick plays in all formats of the game all year round?
Last season, Gareth Roderick played every game in every competition.
Yeah, that's epic.
And then after a weekend off, he flew to South Africa and played every game for his club out there until the weekend before the season began here, and he came back. He just thrives on it. This year, I think he might be given the One Day Cup off.
Waiting, tucked into the onside, but straight to mid-wicket, and there is no run. End of the over, 26 for 1. Surrey need just 23 to win. So you've got Hampshire, Warwickshire, Hampshire again, and yes, this almighty break really of over a month. And then at the end, Notts, Durham and Sussex. So you certainly don't want to leave it to the last game, you'd think. No, but it might well do, you never know.
There's still a lot of cricket to be played, but Worcestershire finished the highest they've ever finished since it was 2 divisions last season, when they finished 6th. This year, if anything, I think Division 1 is tougher than it was last year, and resources are thinner, and they lost Nathan Smith, for example, who was going to come back and then decided to go to Surrey. It's tougher than people imagine, I think. But there's still plenty of cricket to play, and a couple of wins can change the picture drastically, and they'll be saying that to themselves, I'm sure, even though they know they're going to lose this one as Singh bowls this outside the off stump, quicker one, and Burns just lets it go through into the gloves of Roderick. Yeah, I just wonder this year, and I have nothing to go on other than a hunch, as this one is cut by Burns out to the man on the boundary out there, Fateh Singh, and they take a single. I wonder if Gareth Roderick might have a rest in the One Day Cup, because the deputy wicketkeeper, Henry Cullen, since Ben Cox has gone to Leicestershire, Cox having only been offered a white ball contract by Worcestershire, chose to go to Leicestershire to play all formats. This one pushed out on the onside by Burns, by Patel. Henry Cullen has waited and hasn't had much of a go. So I think maybe this year in the One Day Cup it'll be his chance to actually play a few games with the gloves on. This one pushed out on the offside by Patel, but I have nothing to go on other than a hunch, and that's the truth. Sometimes people think you know what you're talking about and you've got some inside information. I haven't. This one is short and hammered away on the offside for 4 from Singh. I think I said Singh fielded one earlier in the over. He would have done well because he would have been fielding at the same time as he was bowling, but it's actually Ben Gibbon out there, the substitute, and it was his left arm throw that made me think that it was Singh. Anyway, that's gone to the boundary. We're just 18 away now, 31 for 1. Singh in bowls, and Patel clips this off his toes down to Taylor at long leg, and they go through for another single. 32 for 1 at the end of the over, and 17 more needed. Patel has 21. Burns will be quite happy to let him face most of the bowling. One man out is Sibley for 8. Early today, Worcestershire resuming on their overnight 69 for 4. Took it on to 112 for 4. Then lost 6 wickets for 13 runs in 9 overs. All out for 125 in just 36 overs. And set Surrey 49 to win.
Oh, Frank, you can tell from the tone, yeah, it's not been Worcestershire's day, but fantastic bowling from Nathan Smith on the money, and from the other end, immense pressure as well from Matt Fisher. I thought bowled absolutely
really well.
beautifully.
The whole game,
yeah, probably deserved, both of them deserved that a fifer, but 6 for Nathan Smith and 4 for Matt Fisher, and sort of swept away almost the Worcestershire batters. Right then, new over here from the New Road end, and wait is to continue. Who's in, is round the wicket into Ryan Patel, cut into the offside, but straight to the fielder, and there's no run. He does like a a cut shot, doesn't he? And he pounces on anything short. Ryan Patel gets his body into a really good position and absolutely thumps it.
He's played well, hasn't he? 61 in the first innings, 22 not out. He'll want red ink as well today. He'll be happy with a nice little 30 not out, wouldn't he? Walk away from here with 90 odd runs for once out. That'd be a good effort by a batter in this fairly low scoring game. He played well in both innings.
Weight in, defended, and there's no run by Ryan Patel. I can't help thinking, if you're in the Surrey squad, you've always got someone looking over your shoulder, haven't you, as well? So yeah, you got to perform if you're in the squad. Of course you do, on the team rather.
Yeah.
And there's must be so much competition for the.
Well, that's
for
the
11.
secret, isn't it? And we were talking about this yesterday when I think I was on with Mark. It's part the secret from the management point of view is keep them keen, but also make sure they do get their opportunities every now and again, because otherwise you have a big squad and you get people disgruntled because they're not being given a chance.
Driven beautifully by Ryan Patel. Save your legs, chaps. Tom Taylor just watches the ball go over the boundary rope. Oh, goodness me, that was a lovely cover drive. 4 more to the total, and I fear this could be over pretty quickly. I think I'll finish off this over if you like, Frank, and I'll leave you and Mark to it. But just 13 more to win. 36 for 1, Surrey, and it looks as though they're going to win this by quite some distance here. But Ryan Patel looks like he's in the mood. I mean, if there wasn't a winning line in sight, you think he might get a few. Right then, his weight in. This is a short ball, and actually there's a bit of a creative feel going on here as well. You've got very short mid wicket. That was a bouncer there. That's been told to the bowler, and we've got these 2 cover fielders, and one of them, maybe just because of our commentary position, looks like he's almost just standing on top of the of the batter.
He's pretty close.
He's pretty close, and he doesn't have a helmet on, so he's not that close, but he's close enough for anything on the up. So anything that Ryan Patel mistimes, if he plays it slightly early, that's where it's going to jump up in the air off the surface. Does Worcestershire a favour. His weight in, tucked into the onside. That was not the line that he was looking for there. Weight, I'm sure, go through for a single. 1 more to the total, 37 for 1, and just 12 more until looks like the victory in this bright sunshine here in Worcester.
Yep, a victory that has been earned by a very professional and measured Surrey performance. The only part of the game where they perhaps haven't been really at it was that little mid-innings collapse yesterday when they were undone partly by a decision which angered Mitchell Santner and cost 5 penalty runs, but generally, with the exception of that sort of half an hour spell, hour maybe.
Wait, this one's another short delivery, not just over the head of Burns, but it felt like it was into another atmosphere up there. But anyway, shorter delivery nonetheless, and a dot ball in the book. 37 for 1 at the end of the over, just 12 more runs needed for victory.
Yeah, thanks to Risa Green from BBC Radio Berkshire, who's been with us for the last 2 days. She goes off to be replaced by Mark Church, who sees a lot of Surrey. He sees all of Surrey, in fact. Mark Church from BBC Radio London coming back in. And I know because we've already discussed it, that he will agree with me that with the exception of that little wobble in the first innings yesterday, really from start to finish of this game, Surrey have been at it, really, as they say in the football world. This one pushed out on the onside by Ryan Patel, and by that I mean they've approached it properly, they've been professional. Their bowling unit in particular has been impressive. Patel blocks this one from Singh up to mid-on. Matt Fisher, a model of consistency. Nathan Smith, a bundle of energy. Tom Law's pretty tidy too. Jordan Clark, as professional as ever with bat and ball. This one driven up to mid-on by Patel. So it's been a performance that the Surrey coaching staff will look at and be, I would think, fairly satisfied with. There's always something you can improve. Patel plays off the back foot, no run, and there'll be a bit of a debrief and they'll pick the bones out of it, but generally speaking they'll be pretty happy with what they've seen here. Surrey have come along champions for a reason, and they've done a job, and they continue to do that as Patel drives this one from Singh out into the offside, and Ben Gibbon, the 12th man, does the fielding on the cover boundary. They take another single, just 11 more needed now, and I can almost smell the fumes from my lawnmower now as I think about what I'm going to do with the rest of the afternoon. As Rory Burns, who's made just one, waits now as Singh comes in and he plays defensively out on the offside. He will not want to make a mistake. That's the end of the over. 38 for 1, 11 needed. Patel 28, Burns 1. The most surprising thing I've seen today, Mark, was Dom Sibley getting out how he did.
Yeah, I sort of get it. I think he probably at this point thought, well, if I do pay a big shot and it doesn't quite come off, it's not going to be the end of the world. And there's obviously plenty of batting to come for Surrey, so I think it's probably more let's try and get it done as quick as possible. Jake Libby's into the attack now.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So that sort of tells a story, I think. So yes, we're not too far away from the end of this. 11 more needed, and Ryan Patel is on strike. Libby bowling off breaks, coming round the wicket, and he's fairly tidy. Gets it up there on a length and driven by Ryan Patel straight back up the pitch. Libby bowling in his sunglasses as he is in, and forward goes Patel, pushes straight back up the pitch. Libby gets a hand to the ball. It ricochets away up towards a wideish mid-off, and there is no run. Libby in once again. Patel's down the pitch, driving up towards mid-off. Again, there's no run, but yes, it's been a good performance from Surrey, and I think what they've done as well is they've taken advantage of the fact that they've come here and we've talked about the pitch and all that good stuff, but that they could have got it wrong. It happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But they've got it exactly right, really,
exactly.
and it's been a very. I sort of use the word ruthless a lot with the bowling, but it's been a pretty ruthless performance this as well. That's very wide, and is signalled wide as Ryan Patel almost fell over trying to reach that, and then in the end had nothing to do with it. So another one to this total. 10 more needed by Surrey as Patel is in behind this and pushes it down into the leg side. And
if it were football, and I know it's not a direct comparison, but
Libby in again, pushed by Patel into the offside, and won't get a run. End of the over, tidy over that from Libby, just a wide off it. 10 needed by Surrey, 39 for 1. Patel's on 28 and Burns is on 1.
Yeah, if it were football, the champions go away to a smaller club, and the other team maybe plays quite well and takes an early lead. And people think, anything could happen. Then the champions just establish control and then score a couple before half-time and end up winning 4-1, and they go away and everybody says, well, you should expect them to do that. But it's a job well done. And that is what it's been like, I think, to be fair. As Singh starts a new over, bowling to Burns, who cuts this one away, dabs it really on the offside, and Hosefields at backward point. There's no run, just 10 needed then. Nice afternoon. A sprinkling of spectators have stayed. Those from Surrey sitting in their little stand that they've commandeered here underneath their flags, no doubt watching with great satisfaction as Rory Burns is taken on the pad by this one, and there's no run. So Singh 1 for 19 in his 5th over. He's got the 1 wicket to fall. He's in now, and Rory Burns is down the pitch and plays that lovely characteristic wristy flick through the leg side. Libby runs round at deepish mid-on to do the fielding, and the score goes on to 40 for 1. And now Patel has gone huge on the leg side, down the wicket to Singh. He's had enough, smashed it over deep mid-wicket for 6, and takes the total to 46 for 1. And Surrey just 3 runs away. Do you want to take over, Mark, so you can talk them through to victory, or are you not bothered?
I'm not that fussed.
No, I don't worry too much. No. Some people do. I don't worry. Okay, well here it is. Singh into Patel and drives on the onside up to mid-on. Does he run himself out? No, he nearly does. He would have felt a bit of a Charlie if he'd been run out there as Libby's throw came in from mid-on, but it missed the stumps. 47 for 1, 2 needed. And Singh with 1 ball left in his 5th over. Will this be the ball that brings the champions their victory? Singh is in. And it is the ball that brings the champions their victory, because Rory Burns finishes it with a reverse sweep, slapped away for 4, takes off his glove, shakes hands with fellow wicketkeeper Gareth Roderick, and Surrey are home. Rory Burns finishes on 8. Surrey finish on 53 for 1, and they are the winners by 9 wickets. They take 20 points to Worcestershire's 3. Ryan Patel finishes on a very nice 36 not out, played 35 not out I should say, plays very, very well, and Rory Burns finishes on 8 not out. A comprehensive and well deserved victory for Surrey. Worcestershire showed a little bit of fight this morning, then fell away rather disappointingly in their second innings, set a modest target, and Surrey have cruised to victory. They'll be back in the capital by tea time or early evening, and they will have 20 points in the bag, and they are richly deserved.
Yes, and it's been a very business-like performance that by Surrey, and they'll be delighted with this. And 20 points moves them on to 125 points in the table, as Rory Burns and Ryan Patel make their way off to our right hand side. And I think from a Worcestershire point of view, look, they've come across a very good side in Surrey. I think you have to say that in both the bowling and the batting departments, they are an exceptionally good side, and Worcestershire have sort of found Surrey at this point of the season hungry to get an away win as well. They've had the away games where not a lot has happened, so they've come across a pitch that has done a bit, and they've taken full advantage of that. But I think a lot of sides would have struggled against Surrey in this game, and Worcestershire hung in there this morning with Allison and Hose, but then, as we said, when the door was open, Surrey barged straight through it, and it's been a very good performance from Surrey.
A very good performance from Surrey, and I hope you think it's been a reasonable performance from us here in the commentary box, from Mark Church of BBC Radio London and myself, Frank Watson, and from Rita Green, who's been with us for the last 2 days. A very good afternoon to you. I hope you've enjoyed our coverage. We will both counties will be back with coverage of their next championship games at the weekend, and we hope that you will be joining either one, depending on your allegiance, when that comes about. Until then, thank you very much for your company. Thank you for being with us, and have a very good afternoon.